interesting program at times, and my computer is very, very old. If you'd like to prevent that kind of thing from happening, have a squiz down below the stream and just donate like $1,500 or so. That's like a completely reasonable expectation, right? And we'll get a better stream box. I mean, yeah, it would help.
Yeah, 1,500 each, thanks.
Yeah, 1,500. We all need a good stream box, so that way we can actually have 3 simultaneous streams. That's how it works. No, of course, any donations are appreciated, but I am just joking. Let's talk about our first matchup. We have 𝗀𝗃 versus OPG, the 2 promoted teams, the 2 new teams. This is actually the first time they've met since the promotion tournament.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, in the promotion tournament, OPG kind of stomped 𝗀𝗃.
Yeah, smashed them.
𝗀𝗃, especially top and bot lane, looked very off. We talked a lot about their top lane being much better in this season, and their support also improving massively. There was a big problem against OPG in the best of 5. 𝗀𝗃 won the first game, but then really got stomped in the next 3. So OPG comes in with a little bit higher expectations today compared to their usual power ranking position.
The one thing to keep in mind is during the promotion series, it was shadow top every game. We don't want that, do we? That's a significant. That's a significant.
Well, it wasn't shadow top every game. 𝗀𝗃 did actually play.
Did he? Okay,
𝗀𝗃
fine.
did
It was predominantly
𝗀𝗃 in the promotion tournament. Shocking.
Okay.
𝗀𝗃
I
in
misremember
the promotion tournament looked shocking. And so did 𝗀𝗃. Both of those players have stepped up massively.
Looked really
It's also a completely different AD carry with 𝗘𝘀𝗽𝗿𝗄 instead of Shine, who has been riding the bench, in part due to illness, in part due to more that 𝗀𝗃 picked up other AD carries because of Shine's illness, and you've got 𝗘𝘀𝗽𝗿 now, so I don't think Shine's seeing play ever again.
That's a shame for him. But
also, their jungle position has cleaned up a lot. Eagle has become a much bigger voice and has greatly improved the team's ability to play around the map, rather than relying on the pure mechanics of then 𝗂𝗄𝗃, now 𝗀𝗃𝗲, and Glory, which is what they did for the promotion tournament.
Yeah.
Yep. I think 𝗀𝗃 is a massively improved team. We have already seen a lot of hope, a lot of good things from 𝗀𝗃. But there's one stat where 𝗀𝗃 is actually trailing behind OPG, even though OPG has had a really rough season so far. That's a goal difference at 15 minutes. 𝗀𝗃 is by far the worst team when it comes to that stat, minus 2,001 gold on average at 15 minutes, while OPG is only sitting at like minus 1,200 something. So 800 gold less in the deficit for OPG, even though OPG is the worst team. So it seems like that is the clear area of attack for OPG. Play through early game and try to get a big enough advantage so that you can't throw away the game like you did a few times here and there in this season already. I feel like that is where OPG is going to try and strike and overcome 𝗀𝗃 today.
Yep, that makes a lot of sense. What about you, Vinnie?
I'm worried that 𝗀𝗃 will play right into that, because they have not seemed to recognize their strengths and weaknesses. Now, that said, 𝗀𝗃 can play an early game if they do draft for it properly, as shown when they did that Draven pick against 𝗂𝗏.
Speaking of draft, we are headed in. Continue your point, but we are headed into draft.
So if they actually draft properly for their early game and then play around it properly, they can do it, but they sort of draft... A lot of the time they draft sort of half and half, and then either overcommit to contesting everything, or they around the weaker members usually, or they just go all in on early game and then play for late game instead of picking pure scaling and playing for late game.
Yeah, that's my biggest problem with 𝗀𝗃 as well. Especially in the last 2 weeks, I think the drafts have been very off. There was the YT Fiora counter pick into, I think it was Team Secret or Cerberus, not quite sure. And that's really weird because 𝗀𝗃 is not a great early game team. They are super good in team fights. So why would you pick a champion that relies on getting your team ahead early so you can go to split push? It doesn't really make sense to me. Then they played a lot of one punch compositions, as I like to call them, with one chance to engage and then nothing to follow it up. So if the engage doesn't land, or if you're behind and don't have the damage, you just can't win. It doesn't doesn't make no sense to me because Percent is so good in team fights. They out team fought Cerberus. They should have won the second game against Cerberus. They are really good around late game team fights and objective control. So I really hope they draft more towards their strength here.
So, lads, I'm noticing something, and I think Vinny's little ooh-hoo-hoos means he noticed it as well. Simon in for OPG and 𝗬𝗃𝗲𝗿 in for Percent. Very interesting changes. I think you were actually oohing at the picks.
Yes.
Go ahead. Tell us about these picks, man. Go ahead.
The Senna Wukong bot lane is wonderful. I think it's one of the most interesting bot lanes you can play. I mean, especially with Senna, because it means, well, I mean, you still have flexibility, right? You can put pretty much anything you want in with Senna and send the Wukong up to top lane, which you're probably not going to do into Renekton. But so there is now possibility for 𝗬𝗲𝗄𝗃𝗃 to counterpick, but you know what the bot lane is on the side of OPG. So I'm very interested to see how they deal with the big monkey in the bot lane, because it's very interesting. It's a fun bot lane to watch.
And of course, this is still
Actually,
flexible.
now we've actually seen a lot of and everything is flexible. Not only just the Wukong and the Karma, even the Senna is now a little bit of a flex pick again, because a lot of people have actually gone back to ADC Senna. We see this all across the world. 𝗪𝗃𝗃𝗃 just played it an hour ago, one and a half hours ago. We saw it yesterday in an LEC too. I think we saw it in an LCS too. So there's a lot of AD Senna again, and AD Senna is still
fasting?
a possibility too. Yeah, not fasting. Actually, farming Senna is coming back too. So this opens up. This is a very flexible draft, and I'm interested to see where Percent wants to go with it. The Karma most likely heading mid lane, so Glory on a facilitating champ again. Not what we want to see from the star player, but yeah, if they can draft around him, maybe that's possible too.
Yeah, we see jungle bans coming in from OPG. That makes a lot of sense, and it looks like mid lane bans out of Percent. Do they ban the Pyke away? Of course, Simon in solo queue is famously a Pyke one trick, but no, they ban a different support. They ban Braum.
I mean, I don't think they're going to, because Renekton's locked.
Oh yeah, that's a really good point. Fuck,
and that's probably going to go top lanes unless they.
Yeah, no, you're right. No, I'm just dumb. I'm really dumb. I'm just an idiot.
This would
going to be Kindred here.
You think it's going to be Kindred?
Oh, it's actually this will be farming Senna. Okay, farming Senna apparently, or maybe fasting Senna with 𝗀𝘀𝗃𝗃𝗃. I think 𝗀𝘀𝗃𝗃 is more picked right now with farming Sennas, so I expect 𝗘𝘀𝗽𝗃 to actually take the CS and go into a more. Most farming Sennas have gone back to the old Senna build with a Mana Moon into lethality items, so no Grasp. Grasp is more of a support Senna thing. And on the other side, we see a lot of Engage. Look at that.
Yeah.
This might be support Pantheon. So this bot lane is very scary to play against. But of course, into 𝗀𝘀𝗃, maybe not the greatest choice. He just eats everyone anyway.
I think to use your terms, I think Saitama might be doing the drafting for OPG, because it does look like a bit of that one punch comp. They've got the arrow, and if they can't follow up on that, you're donezo.
So yeah, with that attack on the jungle, I really would have preferred the pivot of either Karma top or Karma support, because now you just got a buffed up Rek'Sai, which is
you have no damage.
Pretty crap.
This composition is garbage. What is
very
going
low
on?
damage composition.
You have a Wukong that is going to fall behind against Renekton. Of course, that late matchup is how it goes. You have Rek'Sai, who falls off big time in the late game. Karma falls off in terms of damage. Senna isn't the greatest damage dealer anyway. So what are you? This composition is very surprising to me.
If Senna doesn't build lethality, she can actually put out quite a lot of damage. But it's a very expensive build, and it's almost suboptimal for her kit, but it still has potential to do a lot of damage if you go more of a crit focus. But it's
single damage carry Senna.
Yeah, it's
is
questionable.
really
Yeah.
something that hasn't worked from the start of this year. So,
It's definitely not the ideal thing. I think, you see a lot more of not reading the draft and sort of trying to do what you come into the draft with a plan, and then you don't react to the draft. You're just like, oh no, our plan's not working. Rek'Sai's our best
Kindred was
fit
open.
right now.
Hmm.
Kindred was open. That would have been a lot better. And
Kindred is also really
that's-
good into Pantheon and Renekton. You just wait for their engage, and then you kind of fight back with your ultimate. Like, well, why would you go Rek'Sai? I'm so surprised by this pick. I think this composition is really bad. We talked a lot about draft differences yesterday, and almost all the games were decided in draft. Not all of them,
Who was
but
their
most of
jungler?
them.
Who was OPG's jungler again? I've forgotten.
DK.
No, the pick.
Nidalee.
Nidalee. Yeah, okay, so there's next to no reason not to go for. Yeah, there's no
Kindred.
reason not to go Kindred
Well,
unless
you're
Drake
right.
can't play it.
Vinny,
So I'm
it's a good
confused.
point. Is the draft bad enough that you're picking OPG this game? Because you got to give us a prediction.
Oh, yeah, I think I will lean towards OPG.
All right, that's bold.
Based off the draft.
All right, that's a
but-
bold prediction.
I mean, percent can still.
Of course they can. But you're picking OPG. We'll talk to you again after the game. Vinny, thank you for giving us your IQ to bring us up to a solid 401. The one being me, of course. As we do see these teams getting started on the Rift. Apparently we do have a bit of a sync issue. Yulwei, what's your timestamp?
123, 24,
Okay,
25.
never mind. We do not have a sync issue. We are done in. You apparently were just so smart that it looked like you were a couple seconds ahead. We are dead even. And now we do see DK starting off on this red side. Pretty standard stuff. It's actually going to be red side start for both junglers here. Do you think this signals that they want to give bot lane some attention from Rek'Sai?
I mean, it signals that, but can she
Do you
gank
want
bot
to?
lane?
Yeah.
I don't really see the gang succeeding with Senna. Kenji, look at Senna. She has had to. Well,
Okay.
Yeah.
We're back. Okay. How has this happened? That's a disaster. I looked away for a second. What just happened? How has that happened at level
so
2?
we cut
Level
we cut to
1?
the bot lane when Senna already had blown all her summoner spells and was on 100 HP. We have no idea how this started, sadly. So very bad trade, level 1. Probably Xin hitting a stun or something, followed up by Vit just chasing them down. They might have disrespected Vit's rune choice here. He went for the Hail of Blades, so a lot of level 1 damage for sure.
That's a very aggressive.
This is almost game over territory already, honestly. This is such a bad start for the bot lane.
It really is. But OPG, they're going to try and keep it going. Xin made his way to the mid lane, but Glory was way too far back for anything to really happen there. But still, using that bot lane pressure is a good sign. And it is going to be farming Senna. Just to note, she does not have the support item. She is taking the CS. But they're not in a very good situation, are they, Yulwei?
No. And we talked a lot in draft about the single damage comp or almost no damage composition. Now Senna is behind as well. So, well, that's not the greatest
start. Let's see
start.
how
So
this
what
actually
here?
start. Yep, okay. They just... Pantheon!
They just disrespected Hail of Blades and Pantheon.
Yep.
So, way too far forward from percent. Lisa also, of course, starting with Tongue Lash and not Devour. So no chance of chasing or saving Bikoro, excuse me.
Yeah, no, and I mean...
That's a very bad trade. I mean, you can't really say much more there. They just took a trade and disrespected both runes and champions on the enemy side.
Yep. That's all it really is. It was just a bad play out of percent's bot lane. That's not something we see very much. They lose lanes sometimes, but it's generally not just down to just raw bad decision making out of them. But this was, not much else to say. It was just bad. Up in the top lane.
Absolutely. And great start for Vit, who is one of our struggling ADCs, right? Vit and Style are the two ADCs that are really struggling right now to get a foot in. They are on the two worst teams, and Oh, cannon. Ugh. And yeah, we had a lot of criticism for both of these ADCs. 𝗲𝗏 tends to be okay in lane, but then kind of int in team fights. His positioning is not the greatest, but this is a great start. 2-0. He's going for an interesting Ashe build. He wanted to have the bigger spike with the BF sword immediately in the lane, so might go towards something like Essence Reaver full crit, or even Essence Reaver, the old Ashe build, Essence Reaver into Trinity Force. We have to see.
Yeah, it's also possible he does go back to building 𝗏, but just wanted the big spike of the BF sword. It's obviously a bigger spike than just a cutlass. Sometimes you see that, and you just keep the BF sword as a component for another item. We'll have to see. We'll have that developed. We'll definitely keep an eye on it. As I was gonna bring up, win conditions for both teams, but at the moment, I think %, they need to do something, or their win condition.
Gank at the top lane.
Oh, that we do. We'll have to talk about that another time. As in comes 𝗲𝗃𝗃𝗏𝗏. They want to find Simon, but he slices and he dices. He's out of there.
Yeah, ganking Renekton is not very easy, especially if your laner does not have any CC to set it up. Now White hits level 6, so there might be a wraparound gank available, but Simon also hitting level 6, quite hard to kill, especially if he gets close to his turret. OPG, immediately opportunistic, going for the dragon on the other side of the map, so very nice coordination. And OPG has struggled a little bit around objectives, being a little bit too aggressive. So this free objective to start the game is very nice for them.
Yeah, for sure. This is a very good start for OPG. This is probably one of the best starts we've seen out of them. And it's against 𝗏, who are definitely not one of the upper echelons of our teams, but they're definitely no slouch. Of course, in terms of their early game, they are very bad. But look down in the bot lane. We did not even notice the teleports coming out as the Wukong went down there. Ashe is already dead, and all of OPG will escape.
So %, I think OPG started this fight, and then % called in the DPs, and of course Wukong level 6, very strong in early team fights and skirmishes, able to turn around this one. Yeah, I hope we get to see the replay there.
Sure we will.
But this is probably not going to amount to much. 1 kill over to Wukong is of course nice in the matchup. He should be in a better position now to really sway the matchup in his favor. So it's just a little bit of relief for the bot lane. We see 𝗏𝗏𝗏 is actually ahead in CS, which is quite surprising. So what happened here? Simon pushed in, so he really can't TP immediately, because if he TPs here, he loses so much experience.
Also,
It's TP advantage always going to be %'s way. And this is just an aggressive play for %, honestly. I thought it was a more defensive approach where they try to bail out their bot lane instead. Just a very proactive offensive play for %, and they knew they had the damage together with Wukong. But there's another gank on PhD.
It never stops here in the VCS. We come out of a replay, and then we're going to be starting another play. As PhD is on the run, he flashes forward, does glory, and picks up the kill. Can they get onto DK? No, not quite. But it's % fighting back.
A kill, and they have closed the gold gap. Very good proactive plays from %. They are finally getting back into the game. The start was horrible, but at least their team coordination is still looking a little bit stronger than OPG's.
Yeah, and they actually are back in the gold lead. We now have an assist on the center. Of course, she's still very far behind. It looks like she is going to go that Manamoon center, by the way. Something we did want to keep track of. Let's see how this one started off, as it's just replay city.
We're probably going to miss something in this replay with the pace the game has been played at. I mean, this is also not much to replay here. Flash, knock up, PhD is dead.
Actually, nearly gets
tries
away.
to come in for the rescue, yeah. But I mean, in the end, it's still 𝗲𝗏𝗏 with a lot of speed buffs and her long-range Q, so she's able to get the kill. She had to invest her flash, though, so double flash. And, of course, we missed something in the replay.
Of course we did.
As is tradition.
As YT is dead, we'll have to find out how that happened. The Rift Herald is secured for OPG. Lisa has to run. Very, very low. Center is trying to get the damage done. Xin really low. He should go down. No, he doesn't. But 𝗲𝗃𝗃𝗏 does. Finally, he falls. 𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗏 dove in. He manages to get 2. But pays with his life.
In the end, it's still a very bad trade for %. They contest this objective, and their composition should actually thrive right now. They still have a lot of base damages. They are going to fall off in terms of damage, so it's not a bad call to contest this early and try to snowball the game. So you talked a lot about the very bad late game for this draft, or the problems in the late game for this draft. So I don't mind the decision, but the execution not quite there. And I think it started off with the YT getting caught, so it was basically 4v5 from the start. And the Herald also going over to OPG opens up a big snowball now in their favor. I hope we get to see what happened to YT here. How did he get? Okay, it's just Simon against YT. Forcing his ult is actually almost good enough already. But then Arrow as well. Yeah, nicely played for OPG, immediately turning on the Wukong. And now one of the biggest teamfight tools and also one of the biggest damage threats is not here. So the rest of the fight is basically just 𝗀𝗃𝗿𝗄 styling with a little bit of base damages and
that was
early
also,
AD
just to
builds.
point out there, the Rift Herald was secured with a 𝗘𝗀𝗿𝗆 when 𝗀𝗃𝗿𝗏 had smite. And it was in range. He just didn't smite.
Yeah, and that would have been very, very important for his team because, as I said before, they kind of are on the timer here and maybe need to get a little bit of a stronger early game lead because this is not a lead. They are behind, in fact.
Exactly. I mean, technically Senna has the infinite scaling, but it is still just Senna. There's no real other damage, as you've said. Rift Herald summoned up in the bot lane to get Vit even further ahead, as they'll get some plates. Will they be able to get first brick? I think they will. Yep, for sure. Look at all that gold. Ashe is flash with cash. Love to see it.
And also giving over a lot of gold to the DK on the Nidalee, who has been able to get a small CS advantage in the jungle, not quite as big as some Nidalees have been able to accrue before.
Just say Levi.
Yeah, Levi, for example, yeah. And OPG, once again, very aggressive around the objective. They are low on HP, so Percent comes in and contests this one.
Percent does move in, but there's an arrow onto 𝗀𝗃𝗿𝗏. It is the smite going over to DK, but we should have a fight kicking off. Glory gets jumped on, the Realm Warp to reposition as well, as Percent are on the run, but 𝗀𝗃𝗿 dives in. He gets one, gets cleaned up by an overload. There's the center route, YT coming in from the back. It's not the best start to the fight. He flashed on no one, as he has to now try and find DK. He does, still has the second knock up, and DK is in a lot of trouble. He might try and get one kill before he dies, but he won't even get that.
And that's one of the biggest problems OPG has in their play. They are way too aggressive around objectives, even when they are in a bad position to fight for the objective. Looking holistically at the game, of course, they are in a decent position to win this one still, of course, even after the play. But coming into the fight, they lost the poke war. They were half HP on multiple targets, so just disengage the dragon. The dragon is not going to cost you the game. You are winning, or you are going to win on scaling anyway. Look at PHT. He is one item rise, and look at how much damage he already deals in this fight. Imagine if he's level 16 here. Everyone is dead immediately. So you can definitely see that the composition is going to scale up in OPG's favor already. But first off, Renekton doesn't even participate in this fight, so it's a 4v5. And then, Percent stroke when they were still strong in terms of their base scaling. So good contest. In the end, OPG still get the dragon and are still ahead in gold. So it's not that big of a cost, but it's a symptom of what has cost OPG a lot of games. To disregarding the enemy position or enemy team position around objectives like the dragon, mostly.
Yeah,
most of the time it's actually dragon.
Exactly. It may seem like we're being pretty harsh because it wasn't the worst trade in the world for OPG there, but it's something that is really costing them games against the upper echelon of teams. Just fighting a bit too much. Every objective is the hill they'll die on. Pick a better hill, guys. Seriously, it's just a molehill. You're making a mountain out of it, and yeah, it's something that is worth paying attention to, as Glory gets hit by a spear, but he's okay.
So let's talk a little bit about the lane assignments, as I really like what OPG has done. They have sent their very strong bot lane, their bot lane with global pressure, Ashe and Pantheon, of course, into the mid lane, shadowed by DK, so they can't be attacked. And both of their strong solo laners are now in side lane, so we see a little bit of 1-3-1 pressure from the worst team in the VCS. Quite impressive. We'll get a lot of levels on PHT and Simon, and PHT, of course, is one of the best champions when it comes to level scaling. Level 11, a big spike for Ryze. Level 16, insane damage spike. Now Simon caught in the side lane.
Yep, Simon is caught, but he gets away no problem there. One other thing to check in with is we were wondering what the Ashe build was going to be, as speaking of Ashe, an arrow has been thrown. Pantheon diving in. This is very deep, OPG. Bit risky. Xin deals a lot of damage, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. The center ult rips across them. Oh, look at the Rek'Sai surfing forward. 𝗲𝗃𝗲𝗿, what the goddamn hell was that? As YT now is in some trouble, but the boys have arrived to back him up. Simon has to find a way out here, and he will not. Lisa claims that kill. 1 for 1 in a
The kill
very
contribution.
crazy situation.
And stop overforcing OPG. There's no need for you. Chill. Oh god. Why are we watching them dive turrets when they have the Rise scaling behind them? Oh man. Well, whatever. In the end, they still win the fight, or kind of go even in the fight, but still win in terms of map positioning, and will secure another objective that going to nicely lead into mid turret if they want to invest there. Also, look at this push power. They don't have any.
What push
This is
power?
so sad to
Oh,
watch.
𝗃𝗀𝗏𝗏, he
indeed.
has to get devoured, but Simon's coming in. He gets locked up. He still is in that spooky form. Xin now has to be a bit
And not to
careful,
be.
but he has the Pantheon shield. YT arrives. DK very low, but there's no center ult to snipe him down.
I'm not sure if we have actually entered VCS territory yet. It looks to me a little bit like a promotion game still.
Oh, right.
This
Yeah.
is very, very clown fiestery. This
Little
is
bit.
everyone is just TPing in all the time. We just group up in the mid lane and fight, which should ultimately still favor OPG, as there will be a point where Rise can just stand there and kill the front line, and then what is percent going to do? But so far, the game has been very messy. A lot of kills, 15 kills at 16 minutes. So we are almost there, almost 1 kill per minute.
Yeah.
The next big
almost.
objective to spawn is an Ocean Drake in 1 second. And look at the positioning. OPG in a better position right now to get that one.
Yep.
But we
much better
have
position.
Lisa's ultimate.
They don't have a huge amount of
just used
vision
it.
either around the blue quadrant of this jungle. They drop the Rift Herald, which means 𝗃𝗀𝗏 has to invest time to clean it up, and it gets the mid tower. I think OPG are gonna pull off this one. 100% sure what their plan is here, but I think we are gonna have a rumble over the dragon as Glory pulls it with a Q.
We have one team
YT,
on the bottom
you're
side of the
very
river, the
far
other team.
away. Ooh, that was really risky there. If the trigger had been pulled, he might not have been able to join in time. The dragon
very low
going
in the
low.
pit.
𝗃𝗃𝗏𝗏 is just distracted as he loses the dragon. Xin now in some trouble, will be the sacrifice. But it is a third Drake now picked up for OPG. What was Percent doing? Their focus was so split.
Yeah, way too slow on the contest there, and that is a sacrifice you type worth after as
Yeah.
a support player. Like, yep, I died for that, but we are going to win the game with Ocean Soul, so I don't care. Looks a little bit bad on the stat sheet, of course, for poor Xin, who hasn't been able to get a single kill on the Pantheon. We've seen some insane Pantheon support damage, especially from 𝗏𝗏𝗏. So I'm kind of glad to see Xin also experimenting with different champions here. He's one of the role-swapped support players, right? We have a few of those in the VCS, and the role-swapped support players like to bring out the non-support champions in the support position. So it's good to see. So far, I mean, in laning phase, he opened up the first double kill, so I think very successful Pantheon so far.
Yeah, it definitely seems that way. The Pantheon support, honestly, has been doing very well in the VCS. The point-and-click CC definitely fits that VCS style. Let's check in a little bit with itemization, as we were wondering what VIT was going to go. Has got that Essence Reaver and a Zeal. Looks like we might be seeing some crit Ashe. Not something we see super often, but I like it a lot. It has much better scaling, I think. And over on the side of Senna, it is the Mana Moon and the Black Cleaver completed. What are you thinking of the build so far on all 10 members?
So we have double scaling builds for OPG right now, double a lot of ages. And of course, the tier are also built on PhD, as to be expected on Rise. Would be very strange to not have a tier on Rise, of course. But so they still need a little bit of more time to really hit their big power spikes. 2 stacks right now on DK, so he's still 8 minutes away from the big 150% gold efficiency on that item. And also, Vid really wants his second item finished for the next big team fight. Runance, of course, gives Ashe a lot of utility in team fights. A lot of damage too, but especially utility as he slow everyone. So I feel like once the second item comes in and once the Roas get a few
here
more
we go.
stacks,
We have the 1v1 down here in the bot lane here as 𝗬𝗃 was getting absolutely hammered in the 1v1. He's burnt the Cyclone already. Simon wants to try and kill him before the TP arrives and manages it. Now it's just Glory. He thinks he can have a crack at this one as Xin is coming as well. But with the rest of Percent rotating in, oh no, Xin hasn't made the call. The arrow came in, slowed down 𝗃𝗀𝗏𝗏, but now they've got to find a way out. This was OPG possibly being a little bit too aggressive, and now Simon is on the run, but he's got no chance there, and Lisa gets that kill. And look at the Baron. You're right.
Yeah, OPG. Yeah. OPG is running at Baron. They pinged that very early. They've Rise, so a lot of Baron damage, but it seems to be going down too slowly. 𝗀𝗃𝗏𝗏 is also here. Flash smite available.
They can get this. It's going to be a 50-50, and he steals it away! 𝗀𝗃𝗏𝗏 comes in clutch for Percent. He steals the Baron, and he gets Percent right back in this game.
Or they steal, and Percent might be able to steal this whole game away after that incredible objective steal, because they have no right. They have
Glory
no
and
business being this close to the game.
𝗃𝗃𝗃, that was a one-sided fight there.
Yeah, right. Glory, you should probably not do that again. 𝗃𝗃𝗃 has hit level 13. He is on full stacks on his Xera's Embrace, so only very close to 2 items being fully stacked, and 𝗃𝗃𝗃 is really the big carry for OPG. In the very first fight around Dragon, we already saw how absurdly strong he is, and now he's much stronger, so it's going to be very difficult to fight into him. They need to CC and try to kill him from range, maybe with 𝗃𝗀𝗏𝗏 sniping him. But I don't feel like 𝗃𝗃𝗏𝗏 has the damage to really one-shot this Rise, so it's going to be difficult to do anything against 𝗃𝗃𝗃. Who has been, in my opinion, the outstanding player on this team for the last few weeks, even though we criticized him early on in the split.
Well, he stopped playing ADCs.
He has been showing up.
He stopped playing ADCs, and it's really improved, shockingly enough. Now, it's a little bit of an interesting situation. We'll come back to it as 𝗬𝗃 is going in on this Rise, and he should be able to lock him up, and there it is. The monkey brings down the stick. But as I was going to say before that broke out, the Baron steal is, of course, very nice. Is it actually going to be enough, though? Because Percent still has a big scaling problem. It buys them time.
Look at the timer.
Ooh, yeah.
There is. They will probably get the Ocean Dragon, actually, with this pick on the Rise.
Yeah, I don't think
so. That's nice. Buys them 5 more minutes. There might be a counter steal though. Maybe they can actually steal that one away.
Oh no, 𝗀𝗃𝗏𝗏, the hands were not shaking, and DK has to flash out after that. That buys them 5 minutes, where Ocean Soul will not be secured. Ooh, teleport being called. Arrow used. It only hits onto Lisa. OPG, this might be happening again, but 𝗀𝗃𝗏𝗏 is golden in the backline. He should die very quickly. Now it is Simon being focused. He gets away. 𝗃𝗃𝗃's got to kill. The Realm Warp came in. Percent is getting shredded. OPG, the aggressive call, works out, and it's only Glory left alive. He's fast. He might be able to escape, but he'll just be the one left to tell the tale. Ooh, DK wants him.
Tell me every day.
Can they get him? No.
What's this called? This game?
I think we've gone past Clown Fiesta.
I think this is called draft diff.
Yeah, a little bit of draft diff.
A little bit of draft diff. No, I mean, Percent is really trying to contest for worst draft of the whole split. This is such a useless draft, man. What are they trying to accomplish here? They have no win condition.
They stole a Baron.
Oh, yeah. God. Yeah, they did. And it didn't matter at all. So OPG now back in commanding position. 3k gold lead, but if you factor in scaling and teamfight positioning, it's more like a 20k gold lead. Because to win, Percent basically needs to catch 2 people before the team fight starts. I think one person is not enough.
Yeah.
So let's actually look at what happened in this team fight. A little bit of poke for Glory, who's quietly having a very good karma game. But as you can see, everyone groups up, and that's very bad into Rise, of course, where 𝗃𝗃𝗃 comes in with a lot of movement speed, and he hits the big crits. Very good positioning from 𝗃𝗃𝗃. If you look at him zooming in and out of the fight, then of course, teleporting even deeper and cutting down the enemy ADC. It's a very, very good play from PhD, showing off his mechanics, which has been the strongest part of his play from the start. Right, his mechanics are nothing to scoff at. He's a good player. He just is not the greatest when it comes to decision making and positioning on the map.
Very, very true. But this has been a good performance out of OPG so far. There have been some interesting decisions, some overforces. They obviously got a Baron stolen as well. But overall, it's a big improvement out of OPG in general. Their players are looking very good. And overall, the calls have been good for OPG standard. I think they've been improved, even if they haven't been perfect.
And one thing OPG does that is very good to see in a bad team, I mean, they're still the 8th place team, by far the worst game score. They are quite decisive when it comes to approaching objectives. Sometimes that has been their downfall as well, too aggressive. But on the other hand, it's better than just seeing worse teams just roll over and die, right? Yeah. They immediately made the call to go for Baron when 3 people showed on bot side, which is in theory a good call. Of course, they then couldn't prevent 𝗀𝗃𝗿𝗄𝗏 from coming in, so that's not great. But in theory, I actually like the call for Baron. Just try to exploit the other side of the map, and you can see the quick thinking this team has done. I think they are still quite well-coached team. We've seen that a lot in the first week, where their objective calls and their vision control was actually one of the best in the whole league.
Yeah, and we've got to say as well, this draft is pretty good. It's so far ahead of %'s draft that it's not even worth comparing them. But overall, it's actually independently quite a good draft out of OPG. Yeah, this is a good thing to see. And up in the top side, they are going to try and get onto Vit. They are successful. Glory gets the shutdown. This could be % trying to turn it around, but is 1 enough? 𝗀𝗃𝗏𝗏's getting soloed out on the side. It means PHT's not actually in the fight. And oh no, has OPG made a blunder here? I think they have. Zin will be the next one to die. Don't all die for this, guys. DK and PHT, they trying to be the heroes, but the villains come out on top.
That's the most OPG play we've seen in this game. Oh man, this is something that has plagued OPG the whole season, where they just overcommit to pigs.
I feel like I might be getting a letter from Optimus's lawyers in a couple of days for how hard we just cast a curse them. I think we might have been involved in match fixing with how hard we just cast a curse them.
Oh no! To be honest, it's not going to matter in the long run. It's going to prolong the game, which is kind of annoying for the viewers because this game has been over since draft has ended. But yeah, let's see what happened. Vit just getting caught by Wukong. Wukong actually very nice team fight. He hits 3 members with a second knockup. And PHT is too far away. He's trying to chase down 𝗀𝗃𝗏𝗏, who barely gets away. And then PHT not quite in a position to use all this AoE damage. You can see he is still quite a threat. He gets 2 AoE procs here, and everyone goes to half HP from %. So if he gets 1 more level and 1 more combo in, everyone might be dead there. So it's still a super scary rise. And OPG is in time on the map to contest their Ocean Soul. It's still, if they get the smite, it's going to...
Ooh, here we go, but there's the smite secured. DK does get the Ocean Soul for his team, and now the fight cracks off. YT is spinning in the back of the pit. The center ult has been used as well, but the first kill goes over to Vit. Zin gets the second, and OPG look like they might storm back and make up for their mistakes. Glory has been left alone. Zin says this is Sparta, dives in. Lisa tries to gobble up his ADC to protect them, and it might just be enough, but I don't think it's going to be enough to save the game.
Absolutely not. And this is a game where you can really look at it and say, the focus on Baron is really not what you had to do. Because Baron doesn't do anything for you, as you just see.
They want these kills. They're under a tower. PHT goes gold to reset the aggro. Vit gets the kill credit, and he manages to slip away as well. And that will be OPG pushing on to the Nexus.
With only a 3k gold lead, by the way. This is still close in gold because of the Barons.
And as 𝗀𝗃𝗏𝗏 tries to get back to his fountain and fails, YT jumps in. He's got a lot of work to do, but he cannot get it done. And the Nexus goes down. And % lose game 1. OPG take it. My apologies there. Oh boy. And we will, of course, check in with our analysts after just a short little break. Talk in a bit, guys. Welcome back, everybody, for Game 2 of OPG versus 𝗀%, brought to you right here on VCS English. Thank you for joining us. Game 1, it did not go the way we would have expected before the day, but considering the draft, I think OPG was destined to be the winners. What do you think about this one, guys? Can 𝗀% get it together in the draft, or are we looking at OPG's second series win? You want to kick us off, Vinnie?
I hope they can get back in the draft. I figured out what the draft was for. It was to basically have an unkillable monkey and the Rain Terror in the backline.
Really...
But then you also it didn't work. It might have worked a lot better if we had a Malphite top and the Wukong had found his way into the bot lane. And then you have an extra threat diving in. I guess in theory that's what the Rek'Sai was meant to be, but in the end the Rek'Sai and 𝗀𝘀𝗽𝗃𝗃 were just useless. So I would like none of this wacky doodle fun stuff from 𝗀%. Just pick a standard team fighting comp. Yeah. Front to back, Glory on Ryze, Big Koro on Aphelios or Ashe or whatever, normal meta AD carry, and then just 3 big frontliners or whatever.
It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating to watch 𝗀% draft because their strengths are so clear. They are so good at team fighting. Why don't you just draft team fighting? It's not hard. Please just lock in a mage and a generic ADC. It's not that hard.
Before we dive too deep into what we want out of Game 2, we do have to award an MVP for Game 1. I think, in my opinion, there were 2 candidates. But I think you guys have decided. And Yulwei, who's it going to be?
It's going to be Ryze, PhD, with strong team fighting, very good movement, very nice mechanics in the team fights. Still some mistakes here and there, but I think everyone from OPG had some hiccups. The stolen Barons and stuff included. So, yeah, nice game from PhD and showing us why he's one of the main carries of this team and maybe their biggest hope to come back in the split.
Yeah, of course. And I also just want to mention Simon and DK, who also had very, very good games. Then again, most of OPG did. I think all 5 players very well. And you've alluded to it. You just want 𝗀% to go back to bog standard. Play a damn front-to-back teamfight comp. It's what you're good at.
Please.
Stop trying to get fancy when you don't have a coach. Because, of course, they don't have a coach. 𝗬𝘀𝗃𝗏 is the owner of the org, as far as I'm aware. And he's also their stage coach, which is not what you want. But they are doing their best with what they've got. If they do go back to the more traditional front to back, what would you like to see out of OPG? Are they able to out team fight 𝗀%, or is they just don't have the skill?
I think
Vinnie, kick us off.
looking. Oh.
No, Vinnie, off you go.
I think we're looking for a night. I think if you're probably not gonna win a team fight if 𝗀% has actually drafted for it. So I think you try and just smash them early. Just pick your early game comp and just snowball. I think that's what you should be trying to do. But
yeah,
I mean,
I like
they showed that they can team fight pretty okay in that last fight, and they managed their side waves well. So maybe you go split push. I don't know.
I feel like 𝗀% is still the better team fighting team, so it's probably going to be 𝗀% favored, but that doesn't mean 𝗀% wins 100% of the time, right? So OPG, I feel like with their drafts, with Ryze and traditional IDC, I really like Ashe Ryze, by the way. Main damage from Ryze, and then Ashe can contribute a lot of utility and also follow up with a decent damage. But putting Ashe as the hyper carrier, the main carry of the team comp, is something I really don't like to see. So this was perfect utilization of Ashe. Was actually first pick too. So I feel like OPG has a very good grasp on the meta and seems to be able to, play around that. Of course, the game was still riddled with some very weird decisions, some strange positioning in mid game, overdives here and there. So they could just as well throw away the second game. You never know. But I feel like they are in a good position here to close it out 2-0.
Yeah, I feel like this is a very good opportunity for them to get their second series win on the board. which would be good for them. Taking a scout from Percent is a pretty big deal. This is the continued fall of Percent, though. It's got to be said. This is a real collapse out of Percent, which is it's a shame. Definitely not what we wanted.
It definitely is a shame, especially when the solution seems so obvious. It seems to be they're not drafting for their team. They're doing weird and wonderful things. And, well, I say wonderful. With
Not so wonderful things.
Wonderful for the opposing team, apparently.
Really?
Yeah. And, again, I just hope we see Eagle come in as well, because 𝗧𝗲𝗄𝗃𝗲's been a bit of a bust in terms of what he's done. Like, sure, he may be better as a monkey on a keyboard sort of thing. He can play with his hands, sure, but he doesn't seem to have he doesn't seem to make the right decisions. And even
I feel like you really can't fault 𝗧𝗲𝗄𝗃𝗲 in the last game, though, right? He stole the Baron. He had a decent early game. I feel like the main thing is just don't give Glory a utility mid laner, and please give 𝗘𝘀𝗽𝗍 one of his very strong ADCs. He's a very good ADC. ADC should be the big difference in this matchup, even if you consider PHT and Glory to be a close matchup, which it also shouldn't be. But maybe right now, in terms of form, they are closer. But 𝗘𝘀𝗽𝗍 should dominate Vid every single day of the week. So it's really, really surprising to see Vid and Xin hard smash 𝗘𝘀𝗽𝗍 and Lisa in lane. That shouldn't happen again. If Percent wants to have any chance, bot lane needs to perform better. And please drop the 𝗃𝘀𝗽𝗃. Please just get rid of that champion.
Yeah, 𝗃𝘀𝗽𝗃 is not a good champion right now. I don't think.
Well,
I don't think
we'll find
he's being
out
played anywhere, really.
We'll find out if he does get another run as we head into draft.
It's also worth mentioning they went for this weird the center 𝗃𝘀𝗽𝗃 bot lane when 𝗪𝑖STA was open, and like you could have just gone for 𝗪𝑖STA and tried to smash them there. Though I guess you're picking 𝗪𝑖STA into Ashe. So
I personally don't mind Senna at all. I think Senna is a super strong champion. But why would you pair Senna with 𝗃𝘀𝗽𝗃? It's like 𝗃𝘀𝗽𝗃 is only there to enable hyper carries, and Senna is not a hyper carry. And no, she's very far away from a hyper carry. She's one of the lowest damage ADCs. She brings a lot of range, a lot of utility, nice CC. So she's really more of a facilitating ADC. So why would you go 𝗃𝘀𝗽𝗃 with a facilitator? It doesn't make any sense to me. 𝗃𝘀𝗽𝗃 has to be paired with Twitch, with 𝗃𝗲𝗄𝗃, people that can actually bring the damage for two, because you have to bring the damage for two. 𝗃𝘀𝗽𝗃 doesn't offer any. So yeah, it doesn't make sense to me. Senna 𝗃𝘀𝗽𝗃 is something I really hate with a passion.
So 𝗃𝗲𝗄𝗃 and Simon are getting a second game. Just worth pointing out.
So that's fair.
I think that's fine.
That's not unreasonable. I've liked how they've looked with Eagle in terms of map rotations more than
what?
That's interesting.
Okey-doke.
I guess they've read that 𝗪𝗲𝗄𝗃 doesn't have a really strong counter pick in their pocket, so they're relying on and please not the salty run back.
Oh no! What am I seeing here? Oh god, I'm scared. Oh god.
What?
Oh, that's much
that's
more
better.
interesting.
That's more damage.
It's going to get changed though. That's only a hover.
That's
what Glory wants to play. That's what Glory wants to play. But now his coach is going to say karma. You have to play karma.
No.
By the way, just wanted to point out, Simon has played 4 games now, or this is his 4th game on stage, and he has played 1 champion in 4 games. So maybe you want to get rid of that Renekton next time, because so far Simon really didn't have to branch out. He just plays Renekton every game. Fair enough.
And if you're gonna blind pick a top laner, just pick the Renekton.
Yeah, I agree.
It's got no really strong counter matchups. It's got like soft counters, but it's
especially not with these 2 players. Quinn, no one is going to play Quinn. Yeah.
But if you're gonna first pick, other than first picking Renekton, which you shouldn't be doing anyway, you can just ban the Quinn second rotation in your bans. Because then there's nothing left for them really, unless they're busting out Vayne top.
Ooh.
We have a lot of early game power for OPG already, so they are going to strike early and strike hard with the 𝗪𝗪𝗃 Renekton. it's going to fall off towards late game, and especially range disadvantage compared to this center, or if they have to play into center. Is it going to be center Wukong this time around, though?
It might be. Percent's got your favorite champion, though, mate. They've picked up the Graves.
Oh,
into the jungle, so that's already more damage.
It's going to be 𝗂𝗲𝗄 again. It's going to be 𝗂𝗲𝗄 again for Glory.
I would like to see Orianna for Glory.
Yeah.
I mean, I would always like to see Orianna. She's broken.
Because Orianna can sort of play the sort of the role of 𝗂𝗲𝗄 in terms of Graves.
And then also deal damage.
And you give him the speed up. And then, you also actually do something.
And you also just completely disable 𝗪𝗟 from playing the game, because you can slow her, and then you can combo her, and she can't ever get an auto attack in, because Orianna just zones her away. Would be a great choice, but it's going to be 𝗂𝗲𝗄. I'm telling you, it's going to be 𝗂𝗲𝗄.
I have a bad feeling it's going to be 𝗂𝗲𝗄, but we have seen Orianna out of Glory before. He hasn't been the best. Please don't do that. No!
Oh my God.
I think if they lock that in, they've locked it in. Look, I understand if you need me to solo cast this game your way. I understand that's hurt you very deeply. The percent is they're doing it again, boys. It wasn't a draft issue last game. Of course not.
I wish
it wasn't. Okay.
I wish we had a studio so I could go home. I wish we had a studio so I could go home right now. That is awful.
I'm glad we don't have a studio, because I'm pretty sure Yulwei would have just put a fist through the wall.
Oh my God. How can you watch the last game and come to the conclusion that, no, it was execution, guys. It was execution. Our draft was good. No, it wasn't. No, your draft was terrible.
What is this run back? I can't believe they've changed the jungler. That is more damage, to be fair. It is a second damage source. But
yeah, fair enough.
Come on, guys. Come on, percent.
They still have no CC apart from Wukong knockup. They even have less CC than in the last game. At least they had another knockup for Rek'Sai in the last one. So nice.
Why 𝗀𝗃𝗃?
Yeah, I don't understand the 𝗀𝗃𝗃 at all. Like Jessica, it's not even like the 𝗀𝗃𝗃 prevented 𝗊𝗃𝗃 from dying. They just lost 2v2 at level 1. Like, it's not even like the 𝗀𝗃𝗃 saved him at any time in this game. Why would you go 𝗀𝗃𝗃 again?
You could go anything better. You could go even Leona would be better. I wouldn't even mind if you just go all in and make a massive.
Just put the 𝗂𝗲𝗄 bot lane, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, just draft Orianna and 𝗂𝗲𝗄 in the bot lane. You still have the 𝗂𝗲𝗄 for team fights. The 𝗂𝗃𝗃 is not offering anything anyway, so 𝗂𝗲𝗄 bot lane is probably also giving you a stronger 2v2. Then you have a useful mid laner on top of that for the star of the team.
If you want a defensive support from the bot lane, play Braum. Like, Braum wouldn't be the best. But
Braum center. Synergy.
Better. Well, he wouldn't be great. It wouldn't be a great pick. But it would be a lot better than 𝗂𝗃𝗃, right?
Yeah, I mean, everything is better than 𝗂𝗃𝗃, so that's not a hard argument.
So yeah, Braum, Alistar, hell, I don't know, Lulu.
Lulu is going to shoot herself if she has to play with center. That is the anti-synergy if I've ever seen one. Holy moly.
Right. Vinnie,
that's like Lulu Jin.
Vinnie, they didn't learn. Is it going to be OPG 2-0?
If they keep drafting like this, percent deserves to lose every single game for the rest of their careers.
I agree. These are some shocking drafts. Well, let's see if they can make it work this time. We'll talk to you after this game, Vinny. I think it's quite funny. You guys are getting very angry, validly, and I can hear my bird in another room getting very angry as well. So Rakan is in solidarity with the analysts. Know that you have feathered support, and oh dear God, my monitor just switched off. That's not what you want. It won't affect the stream, of course, but I need to be able to see. There we go. It's back on.
Let's focus on what actually changed. The one champion, or let's say two champions, but the Azir doesn't really matter too much. But let's focus on 𝗃𝗏's champion, because 𝗃𝗏 is not playing Ashe, and 𝗪𝗟, of course, much more short-ranged. And that will run into some problems into Senna and 𝗀𝗃𝗃 on the Grave. So it's a little bit better in terms of overall the team composition itself, I don't think is that much better. They have a little bit more damage from Graves. Well, I don't really think that the team composition 4% is that much better. But it's a little bit stronger into OPG because they don't have the Ash. So this time around, 𝗂𝗧𝗏 will be an easier target to get on top of.
Don't miss the spear on a stationary red buff DK. Come on, mate.
Man, observers, that's when you have to cut away a little bit earlier. You just don't show the spear ever. Don't ever show the spear because it's too embarrassing if it misses. Oh, and we have another level 1 engage.
It's happening again, Yulwei! They're doing it again! Oh, this time it's not a double kill, but it is so much damage being dealt.
I think he could have killed him there.
The exhaust is double effective against 𝗂𝗧𝗏, remember? I think that's
but she's still stacking spears, so if she flashes after him and gets another spear and then E's after, or rents after the exhaust is worn off, I think that could have been a kill. Okay, they still had heal for 𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃, so yeah, fair enough. So it's probably not worth investing your flash. Fair enough, I didn't account for the heal. So actually a good trade now for 𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃 and 𝗀𝗃𝗃, because 𝗀𝗃𝗃 just chunks all his potions, he still has his cookies, so he's in a good position. And they forced the heal for Vid, so already a much better start for % bot lane.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought we might have been getting flashbacks to game 1, but % did manage to sort things out, and they actually come out just fine. And of course it is going to be farming center again. Not surprising, it's the same bot lane, of course. 𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃 lurking around the mid lane. PHT might open himself up there. No slow and the instant flash.
Yeah, he had to flash because he used his E in the trade against 𝗀𝗏. Nice punish from 𝗃𝗃𝗃. Good communication between 𝗀𝗏 and 𝗃𝗃𝗃 as well. Now PHT has to overextend to push on the wave, so I like this roam a lot from Xin, covering his bot side so he can play a little bit more aggressively. And PHT has put himself into a very vulnerable position in mid lane where 𝗀𝗏 has just kind of frozen the lane on him, or the wave. So PHT now has to overextend, probably wants to push on the wave and then teleport back to lane, but there's another gank in mid lane.
𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃 arrives once again, the E's already been used. PHT has no mana. Do they want to continue this one? Of course they do. 𝗃𝗃𝗃 gets the kill, but now OPG has arrived. DK comes in, desperately trying to get the damage down, but 𝗀𝗏 body blocks the spear, and they're going to go forward. He goes under tower. DK, you absolute madman. It's going to work out, and 𝗀𝗏 cannot chase. The teleport's an interesting call, but it's just PHT coming back to lane. DK!
Are we sure this is still DK playing? What? He is so good
Oh,
today.
but up in the top lane, this is a real 1v1 as Simon has to flash. Oh, and the minions assassinate him, helping out Big Brother YT.
Yeah, I mean, if you win all the lanes, you don't actually need to draft a good composition, right? Yep. So a good start for sure for %. But I really want to shout at DK. He played this so perfectly. I want to see the replay. His movement against 𝗂𝗏𝗏𝗏 was so clean. He broke the tether and immediately jumped back in with his flash. That was incredible. So let's see how this starts. So 𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃 flashes to interrupt the E. Very nicely done from 𝗃𝗃𝗃 as well. And now focus on DK. Look at his movement against the tether, which we'll see shortly. Look at him. Breaks the tether and immediately goes back in. Perfect movement. That was so smooth, so clean. Wow.
The feline
DK putting on a clinic.
The feline grace coming in there. You've got to see it. You'd love to see it. Definitely some experience on the Cougar coming in. Remember that was 𝗀𝗏𝗏𝗏's old hidden passive?
Cougar?
Yeah, no, you used to get 1 more XP as 𝗀𝗏𝗏 from each thing you killed because she's a Cougar, which means she's experienced. So,
what?
It's an English word.
Seriously?
Yeah, and so a Cougar, this is a little bit out there, but a cougar is an English slang term for an older single woman.
Okay.
So she's experienced. Yeah, you used to get 1 more experience from each thing you killed. It was the same as
League was so gimmicky.
You used to get you used to have hidden passives where if your character had sunglasses on in their skin, you took 1 less damage from all of Leona's
Yeah, I know.
abilities.
I know those ones.
Yeah, there was a lot of them, and the inverse law of ninja strength. But we'll come back to it
Oh,
as YT and Simon are gonna have a brawl, and Simon gets his revenge. The teleport comes in too late, and it's only Glory again. He doesn't quite offer the damage, but can he offer the time to get 𝗀𝗃𝗃𝗏 up there? No, not quite.
Level 6 for 𝗀𝗃𝗃𝗏. He can't execute him. And as we pointed out yesterday, it's so hard to tower dive with Graves, so there's no kill to be had. And instead, on the other side of the
bot
map,
lane, they've targeted that big Koro. They're going to try and find him as Lisa is on the run. And in the end, they are just too slippery. Ooh, they might be going.
Still under pressure in top lane.
Go for the tower dive with Graves.
Nope.
𝗀𝗃𝗃𝗏's moving pretty well. Yeah, he's moving well though, as 𝗀𝗃𝗃𝗏 should clean him up.
What are you doing?
Used his whole health bar, but they get the kill.
Move behind the turret. Grace can't attack you behind the turret. Why do you run into what? Oh, it's so easy to outplay for Simon. Oh man, sad times. Let's look at his glory moment where he gets the very easy solo kill. Wow, YT had no chance there. Just renekton things. Way too much damage. This champion is so disgusting. I hate him.
We don't get the replay of the dive, unfortunately. That was, I think, the more interesting half of the play. And now Lisa is being hooked. This is
instant exhaust.
Goes.
Wow.
Yeah, that's very scared there.
They were scared.
𝗂𝗃𝗃𝗏 is a natural 𝗃𝘀𝗃𝗃 counter. Sometimes people forget that because if he pops his shield, you can just leave the spears in and then wait for it to wear off and then just kill him.
Just a reminder that they opted into 𝗃𝘀𝗃 into 𝗂𝗃𝗃.
Yep.
So, just saying. Not a big deal. Oh god, 𝗃𝘀𝗃𝗃, man.
It's interesting. I mean, obviously you guys on the stream can't, but I can see Yulwei's camera, and at the moment he looks like a dog in summer with how much hair's falling out.
Yeah, this weekend has really not been great to my hairline.
No.
A lot of mauling going on.
Caster pattern. Sure. Screw male pattern baldness. It's caster pattern baldness.
Yeah, for sure.
But here we have a lot of OPG in the mid lane.
Oh,
the shuffle attempt, but Glory with a very nice flash. Flash for flash as well.
Yeah. In the meantime, Herald started a little bit aggressive here. 𝗘𝗀𝗃𝗏𝗏, Xin, and PHT are here to contest the vid. 𝗘𝗀𝗃𝗏, what was that? Please.
Oh, no.
Oh, God.
Now, we do have a fight up in the top lane as the Cyclone is being used. Can he kill Simon before he goes down? No.
Nice.
DK confirms it. The Rift Herald was picked up by %, and they want to take the back half of this fight. Xin is taking so much damage. Will get Fates called out. Do they want to re-engage? They do. He goes in. Instantly flashes. There's a Senna ult to get some shield. Simon very, very low, as is Xin. DK as well. They do not have the health bars to continue this fight. PHT gets rooted up. They've got to try and fight into this one. He's very, very low, and he will finally be taken down.
What is going on? The series? Get me out every day. Get me out.
Hey, we get some good fights. Come on, this is not FTV playing. I'm fine with this. As Vit is on the run. It's all right. This is not FTV versus VGA last split. This is a lot more fun. Give him a break. This will be Herald.
We get a lot of fights. And this time, % is able to accelerate their early game. This will be first turret. A lot of gold over to 𝗀𝗃𝗃𝗏 and 𝗃𝗀𝗃𝗏, the two 80 damage threats, the main carries, you could argue, if you discount YT. So they could go off to a great lead. Look at that gold lead. That's the biggest % has had in a long time.
Yeah, this is
notorious for being behind, of course.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you've got to say, % is looking pretty good. They salty ran back the draft, which is upsetting, but it's working this time. And that's fine. Let's have a look at this 1v1, which was very
down for Simon. He also... So it's a lot of minions on either side. I think Simon has a little bit more minion damage going for him than this snipe from DK. Yep. Nicely done.
Yep.
Yeah, let's look at Xin in this fight. I'm really not sure what the call was here. Zin's like, oh yeah, get me out. And what was that?
I mean, he got the knockups. It was worth it. But in the end, their health bars were very, very sus.
Yeah, health bars were a big problem.
You didn't have to make the call to go back in there. PHT, he got sacrificed. Poor Emperor.
Yeah, PHT arrived late. He really didn't want to go, and I think it would have been better for him to just push in a few turret plates, but probably a team call. He was caught in transition when his team was not able to cover for him, even though they were 5v4 on the play. Zin wants to go for another one. 𝗲𝗲 overextended.
𝗲𝗲 could be in a lot of trouble here. There is some healing from 𝗃𝗀𝗿𝗄, but it doesn't matter. That fish is going to go down. Vit takes a lot of damage. Will get traded back. And now it's a 2v2. 𝗬𝗏𝗃 putting out a lot of damage, but he's soloed out. It doesn't matter though. 2-4-2 now. 𝗃𝗀𝗿𝗄 and Zin having a go. Glory wants to find a way in. And I think Zin might be sent back to the bottom of the ocean any minute now. Come on, guys. Chop, let's go. Get him down. Oh my god, is he going to get executed? No, surely not.
No, it's not enough. No.
It was.
That wasn't enough time.
No, it wasn't, but it took a little bit longer than it needed to.
I mean, he once again showed us his dancing shoes. He's one of the best dancers in the VCS. He is so many nice outplays with his dodging. So yeah, Zin still got it when it comes to the mechanics and the dodging skills.
Yeah, unfortunately.
But really another over-aggressive... Yeah, a little bit over-aggressive call for OPG. I thought they would win that one, but 𝗃𝗃𝗃 with quite a big disadvantage against 𝗀𝗃𝗃. So 𝗀𝗃𝗃 with way more damage early on, attack speed boots, and a serrated 𝗃 on top of that.
I'm so happy. I was about to point out the 𝗃. You have a Black Cleaver up in the top lane. There's no real dedicated tank on the other side. Go that lethality Varus. Yeah, I think we... Oh no, that'll be a Triforce actually. I'm telling a lie. You don't need a Black Cleaver, though. It's actually not important. The most important part was no dedicated tank on the other side. There's not going to be that much armor.
Yeah.
Zin could be in trouble, but the blast cone is good. And sent 𝗀𝗃𝗃𝗃 to the wolves, but zones him away. And now we are in a little bit of an interesting situation. The teleport is coming in. The Fate's Call will just about get there. And all the boys are arriving. This is an Avengers level threat. As in they come. Simon dashes forward. There's a good shuffle. That wall was absolutely huge. 𝗃𝗃 smashes this fight open, but OPG are beginning to lose members. %. They've got decent health bars, and it's all on 𝗀𝗃𝗃. Can you justify being in over Eagle? 𝗃𝗃 gets another one, but 𝗀𝗃𝗃 is carving them up. That shotgun is just absolutely ripping holes in chests.
It's a 4-4-4. Can you believe that? Everyone is dying. The junglers stay alive, so it's really a jungler game. 𝗀𝗃𝗃 is the main carry now. 5 kills on the Graves. He secured so many kills. He brought so much damage to the table. This is, in my opinion, where Graves is strongest. Mid-game team fights, not late game. Everyone talks about him being a scaling champion. Meh. Look at this. This is where he shines. He's so tanky on the ADC and still brings so much damage with his E, stacking up armor, of course.
𝗃𝗃𝗃.
So the engage, it looks perfect. This was so well set up by OPG, but they just don't have the damage to get the kills immediately. Also, great ultimate for Wukong. 4 or 5 members were knocked up there, and 𝗀𝗃𝗃 just wrapping around and bringing all the damage. Was close to being a 5-for-3, actually. 𝗀𝗃𝗃 just barely missing out on the kill on PHT in time. So in the end, 4-for-4, which is a decent trade for OPG, of course. They are still behind. So trading kills, accelerating the gold is always nice if you're behind.
Graves
makes
is the best
percentage
jungler in League of Legends, quite clearly.
No, please. You are not nice to my hairline today.
I'm sorry, Yulwei. I mean, you guys decided to replace me yesterday and get a different host in, and I was very upset. So now I have to bully you to make up for it. Oh boy! But there is an attempt onto Simon, but nothing really comes of it. As it will be the second Rift Herald spawning up soon, and I think % have their eyes fixed on that one. Let's we criticised this draft because it was the salty runback, but the one thing that changed was the Graves. He's now got 5 kills. Do they now have the damage to get this one going? You'll have some time to think as 𝗃𝗃𝗃 has to flash from his wall. What do you think?
If 𝗃𝗃𝗃 continues to play like this in the late game, they do. Because the Azir is really the big problem for Graves. The Azir can just zone him away, can attack him from far. Is 𝗲𝗲 in trouble here?
Ooh, a little bit of trouble. He's got some spears in him, but of course 𝗃𝗀𝗃𝗃 has a lot of heals.
Oh,
uses the Dawning Shadow. That was aggressive. And now DK's coming in, but the spear's not going to land, and they will walk away.
So yeah, the Graves has a little bit of problems with target access in the late game, especially against Azir, against this wall. We have
the top lane. These top
first.
laners are out for blood. There's so many solo kill attempts. Dear God. I love it, as Simon definitely got the better of that one, but no one dies.
He's had experience and probably even gold, considering the CS lead. he's acquired. So even though the on the scoreboard the Wukong looks strong with Trinity and 3 kills, 150 gold shutdown, he's actually behind in this lane, so he needs to be super careful against Renekton. Luckily enough, he had the ultimate to get away. And we have the turret pushed by Percent. This time around, their bot lane looking way stronger than the last game, and 𝗀𝘃𝗃𝗃 able to contribute to the lane way more than he did last game already.
Yeah, it's very, very true. And it's got to be said, and we have said it, but I want to repeat it. Percent, their biggest weakness has been A, their drafts, and B, their early games. But look at this. They are going up against OPG, a very aggressive team, and they're coming out of the early game with a lead. This is very, very impressive here. 𝗀𝗃𝗃𝗏. I mean, I saw someone in Discord saying, oh, not bringing Eagle in for game 2 is a little bit of int, don't you think? Well, I don't know about that one, Daddy Side, as 𝗀𝗃𝗃𝗏 is justifying his spot this time. I think 𝗀𝗃𝗃𝗏
really
was
didn't mind
actually
his play in the
okay
first
last
game.
Yeah, I actually think it was.
Absolutely. So OPG has really accepted their place in this game right now and has chosen to go for scaling. We have a call completed, we have first item for PhD and Rod of Ages again. But
here we go, PhD has to get away because, of course, 𝗀𝗃𝗃𝗏 has just hit his biggest power spike as he now has his own Duskblade as he completes the Duskblade
he had to
of
flash
𝗀𝗃𝗃𝗏.
It's true. It's a very nice item player combination, of course. But he had to flash away. He went over the wall super. Oh no.
That was not a great herald. They're using it to buy time for Dragon.
Yeah.
That's what the point was. But I think
opened up Dragon.
Could have placed it a little bit better.
Could have been mid-turret and Dragon, though, so for sure a little bit of a blunder there. He wanted to move to Dragon as soon as possible, so he didn't really account for the positioning for OPG. So they get to the turret first, and now the turret might still fall if they zone them away. A lot of poke.
Yeah, they are putting a lot of damage in, but with the minion wave cleared out, we'll have to take another one. We'll have to see. But 𝗀𝗃𝗃𝗏 looks like he wants to just take some topside river control. It makes sense. Baron is the next objective on the table. Of course, it's a while away. But look at this, the top laners are fighting again! This time it's not quite the solo kill attempt, because of course they knew the boys were coming. Glory hits the tether and 𝗀𝗃𝗃𝗏 comes in, and the monkey takes down the croc. I mean, it makes sense that they're angry.
Yeah.
It's the animals, the zoo laws.
It's true. Once again. But Simon, I mean, come on, dude. a little bit too oblivious to the positioning on the map, in my opinion. So he just goes down, gives up another kill, another kill over to
here
YT.
We go. The monkey has fallen to the cat. We have a lot of animals in this game, as 𝗀𝗃𝗃𝗏 now is looking for the revenge and will find it.
It's another turret. Do they have enough damage to get the turret? A counter turret in the bot lane. This should be another one. So Percent really trying to accelerate this game to a gold lead where they can just close out, even with their strange composition, let's call it.
I think the Graves actually, I was a doubter as well, but I actually think the Graves makes a really big difference. Particularly because it's lethality Graves.
Because he got ahead this much.
Of course.
If he doesn't have 6 kills at this point, then...
Yeah, you're right, but still, I think the second damage threat is what really matters. Let's see how DK plays this, because he just realized he was dead and just said, I'll take 1 kill, and it's a 1-for-1. That's a good call by DK.
600 damage crit.
Oh, but here we go. Back to live. You never get a chance to talk. You should know this by now. As Lisa will die for his AD carry, but the fight continues. The Cyclone is used. I don't think YT wants to go back in on this one, but 𝗀𝗃𝗃𝗏𝗏 arrives. There's a collateral damage and does clean up PhD. Do they want to continue this one now that the bird is dead? They can. 𝗀𝗃𝗃𝗏 wants to. You can see it. Gets the red buff slow, throws in that shell, and he's dealing so much damage. Simon pops the Dominus, will not get tethered.
So in the end, Percent actually wins the fight, but it's still a 1-for-1 trade, so decent for OPG. PhD really has to think about how he plays this game. For some reason, he's always out of mana when he arrives to the fight, so maybe spamming his W a little bit too much, a little bit too few soldiers summoned. I know it's fun, I know it's cool to have pets to play for you, but maybe be a little bit more cautious summoning soldiers when you don't have to. And yeah, he's a little bit too aggressive on this Azir. He needs to chill a little bit, not look for aggressive ultimates, in my opinion.
Good flash there.
I mean, this engage was nice.
That was a very good flash by 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏.
But look at PhD's mana pool. He has like 1 soldier left. Maybe. He also has flash, so he could have flashed at any time here. Instead, he goes further forward. No mana left. Now he could still flash away from this. Nope, no flash.
Well, I mean, he couldn't flash while knocked up, of course.
I know, he could have flashed before, though.
Yeah.
It was very obvious that Wukong would engage on him. So
it's true, but
this has been... Oh, never mind, there's another one.
As is tradition, we come out of a replay to another attempt, as this time OPG managed to find a way out.
Very hard to see all these plays being set up because every time we want to see the setup, it's actually a replay. So it's hard to follow this game, I have to say. I have to admit, it's
Maybe
I
just
don't really
stop
know what's
the
going on.
replays. That sounds weird because replays are great, but I'd love to see the setup. I don't know where these fights are coming from. I almost feel like I'm just doing like some play-by-play practice where I've got 30 clips of team fights ready. I'm just like, all right, let's go. But it's a real game.
So we are at roughly 4k gold lead for percent.
But it doesn't stop. He tried to talk. There's a center ult coming out, but it's matched by a very good Azir ult. Vit will go down to the snipe from 𝗖𝗃𝗲𝗏. Lots of soldiers on him, and he'll follow him to the grave. PHT now goes down, and it's a big Simon carving up the backline. DK, very low, needs to find a way to get away from Glory, but jumps. Lisa wants him, and here comes YT. The monkey comes in. Simon desperately trying to get onto Karma, but can't do it.
Run, cat, run.
And here comes YT. Can't quite get him.
Oh, these fights are so messy. Everyone just dies. And PhD, please stop. Please. You're playing Azir. You can just play backline. Why are you trying to engage?
I have a water bottle next to me, and I've reached for it about 7 times because I'm really thirsty, but I haven't had time to take the lid off yet. I'm going to risk it.
Yeah, it's going to be another dragon for percent, but let's look at the replay first. It's another engage for PhD, and I mean, the engage is nice. He hits 4 people. He's not really on the AP totals to really deal damage with his ult yet. So he's right in the middle of everyone. He's the main carry, so he shouldn't be right in the middle of everyone. He should try to play front to back on this Azir. Instead, I mean, they get enough damage because Simon is still super strong mid-game Crocodile here. So Simon at least is able to kill 𝗀𝗃𝗏𝗏. But I hope OPG can realize that in the late game, PHT needs to be more cautious. He needs to fight from far back and zone 𝗀𝗃𝗏𝗏 because he could just completely nullify the Grace as he plays it correctly. Instead, he tries to engage all the time, and engaging doesn't really do much for his team, because if you engage on Azir, just as we saw in the team fight there, everyone is clumped up at one spot, and you have to consider that YT wasn't there for the start of the fight. So if YT is there too, if it's a full-on 5v5, and Azir is right in the middle of everyone, he is going to die instantly. Vit died instantly, so you don't have any damage left. Please, you need to consider how you play team fights. It's not going to help if you just engage all the time.
I kind of have to question the 𝗀𝗄𝗏𝗏𝗏 buy as well. I know I just heard screams as I questioned the 𝗀𝗄𝗏𝗏𝗏 buy, but there's no real health stackers on percent side.
That doesn't matter. He still has the madness passive. The 𝗀𝗄𝗏𝗏𝗏 is insanely strong on this champion.
You're not wrong. Fair enough.
And even on 2k HP, which everyone will get at, it's still a lot of damage. If you get the doubled 𝗀𝗄𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, which you almost always get on Azir because of Q, you get 3% HP damage per second. Ooh. So it's a lot.
Yeah, fair enough. All right.
I thought 60 damage, right?
I thought I could try and be a little bit of a contrarian, but no. Analysts will not come on my merry journey.
I think there is an argument, to be fair to you, there is an argument to stay on haunting guys for a while. Yeah. There could be an argument for that, but I just feel 𝗀𝗄𝗏𝗏𝗏 is such a strong item generally.
He comes over the wall. Glory is the target of the depth charge. They just want the fish. He flashes over the wall. DK will follow. Will the cat get a treat? No, she's denied her dinner as she could not stand up to 𝗀𝗃𝗏𝗏𝗏 on the way in. And down in the bot lane, once again, the top lane is 1v1, and this time Simon wins.
Yeah, I think the Crocodile is stronger than the monkey in the 1v1, so there's a little bit of a problem in side lane now for percent, and OPG showed us some good 1-3-1 in the last game. Sadly, this time around, their mage isn't the greatest 1-3-1 champion. I mean, Azir can clear waves on the side lane. He can't really pressure turrets too well. He's not Rice, where every 1v1 he takes is an auto-win. Yeah, let's just look at this again. It's the 20th edition of this 1v1. And once again, Simon just overwhelms him with stats and dominance damage.
Yep, this time it does go Simon's way. It was fairly close. It's fairly close, but of
Pretty
course,
close, pretty
in
close.
the end, crocodiles are an ancient animal, and they know what they're doing
no
at this
one
point.
has-
But PHT's in. He's dead. Goodbye, PHT. Shurima's fallen. This is he's dead. No chance.
So yeah, side laning Azir, maybe not the greatest idea.
It's just too far up.
And
with
now
that vision.
will this open up the Baron? Yeah, once again, actually exactly the same spot Simon died in 5, 6, 7 minutes ago.
Yep.
So top lane is a little bit of a struggle right now for OPG. They seem to not be able to
𝗬𝗲𝗏 on
get
the
the
flank,
vision in.
gets the smoke screen slow. The Cyclone comes out instantly, knocks up so many people. The Centaur doesn't deal much damage, but gets a lot of shields. And down goes DK, and that's got to be Baron.
That's the jungler down. They still they have TP for PHT and he's only 15 seconds away. So it's going to be here on a new item breakpoint. Not really a completed item, but at least a little bit more AP. They seem to be a little bit far away to contest
TP
though.
has been called. Bringing in the Croc. Lisa
Yeah,
is the target. It is far too late. It's cooking down very quickly as Baron. Can they get in right now? I don't think so. There's the secure. 𝗬𝗏𝗏 with the smite. In goes PHT. Doesn't even use the wall. That's not what you want. And OPG fall apart. Simon is on the run. He gets tethered up though. This crocodile will not be going anywhere. The collateral damage finds him. 𝗃𝗀𝗃𝗏 takes down Vit and DK respawns to his world in ruins.
And it's the OPG classic. Contest objectives even though you're not in a position to contest, and then lose the objective and lose the team fight on top of that, opening up the game to really be close by %. It's now a 7k gold lead, close to Soul as well. So this might just be it.
Yeah,
I don't think
so.
the game can...
I'm annoyed.
Maybe they can even... Yeah.
I'm very annoyed. I had a bunch of crocodile facts I wanted to bring out, but I never had time. As DK has been
Simon,
caught out,
he's
going to die. And now this will be % pushing onto the Nexus, and the battle of the promoted teams will go all the way to 3. Stick around for Game 3, guys. We'll be back in just a few minutes to see who closes this one out. Don't go anywhere, and we hope you are enjoying the show here on VCS English. Welcome back, everybody. We are a little bit late, but that's all right. We were just arguing about myriads of things, and I was telling my analysts, no, that draft was good from %, clearly, as they did come in with the win.
I won't throw you under that bus.
Get out.
We had, I think it was a good time. Now, we do have to award an MVP. It's a bit of a formality, as I believe we have agreed on the bear in the jungle, 𝗀𝗃𝗃𝗿.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're honest, it has to be PhD again. I think PhD is going for a 3 MVP point.
We don't do that. We don't do the anti-MVP. That's very mean, Yulwei. I understand. Yeah, it was a bad performance out of the Azir. I think he had moments where it was actually pretty good, but he had some team fights where it was fully int.
I mean, there were massive ultimates where it almost looked like he'd turn it around, but then it's just...
Yeah. He just misinterpreted his objective in the team composition. He was not there to engage. He was there to do the consistent damage. Mm-hmm. He just engaged every time anyway. Yeah, it looks cool on screen, but then your team still loses the team fight. So please, can you just change your play pattern, please?
And I will just before we keep deep diving. Sorry, Vinny. Do hold that point. I do want to apologize. The stream did crash again. OBS is bad again. If you want to get a 1080p stream that doesn't crash, donation link below. But regardless, Vinny, what are we thinking for game 3? Does % run it back again and just bring the Graves?
Please no.
Probably.
No. Please no. I don't think... obviously the Graves improved it a hell of a lot, but I think it's just not worth it. You need to change I think you need to be looking to change something. It's probably top or support. I think you should be hunting for that Renekton instead of going into the
Or Simon to show something else.
Losing it again and again.
He's played 6 games and he's played 6 games of Renekton. Or 5 games.
Yeah, exactly. That too. I think, you could also be utilizing the support position a lot better than the 𝗀𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃.
We will find out as we are heading into draft, but continue your point.
Yeah, I hope we see something different. If nothing else, just something more consistent. Because
I see Gray's first pick. It's my question.
Situation.
Could get banned as well.
Ooh.
I think DK is an outstanding jungler so far in the series, even though he was overshadowed in the last game. Even though the enemy jungler was popping off, he was still in a very good position. He was still playing a great Nidalee game, so I feel like it's more likely to see a Grace ban for Overpower, and they want to go Nidalee again. I'd say that's probably where we are at right now in this serious matter. Yep, first pick Ashe was the first game, and first pick... Wukong, right? Second game, so a little bit strange
Which was
so
a very
far.
interesting choice.
𝗬𝗲𝗄𝗧 has fallen out of favor here.
Yeah.
𝗬𝗲𝗄𝗧 was banned in the first game. I know that.
It didn't get. Yeah, it wasn't banned in the second. It hasn't been touched.
Don't know
same
about the second game.
I don't think it was banned. I think these were the same bans in game 2.
So open once again.
Yeah.
Do they first pick the Graves? Because I feel like 𝗬𝗃𝗲𝗏 will absolutely snap the Graves up if he can. You got the momentum. You looked really good on it. Even if you don't run the same team comp, I think the Graves will still be good. Ooh, will Simon
Not
bring
going to
the
be first
pike?
picked.
No, yeah, it's not going to be first pick.
I like
They
this.
Will, yep,
I
like
am
this
a big
as
fan of this.
Yep, I like this.
DK's been putting out these really good performances on the Italy so far, so can't fault that pick. It doesn't show anything either, so
yep. And I mean,
you're
DK
very well set up.
DK was fantastic on it in both games. Boys, look who it is! It's Senna. 𝗘𝘀𝗽𝗃𝗄𝗏𝗿.
Can we just skip ahead 10 minutes or something so we don't have to experience this again?
Ooh, here we go. Is this the new volley set? R1, R2.
Apparently. Yeah, apparently.
I
So
mean,
it's
to
going to
be
be
fair,
Wukong again.
was-
Oh, 𝗲𝗲𝗏 instead.
Okay.
Oh no, not again.
Of course. What did you expect? 𝗀𝗏𝗏 used a 𝗲𝗏 one trick. I'm not sure why you're so hyped about a 𝗲𝗏 one trick, but
Yeah, it's weird. Like, why
fair
is your
enough.
favorite
You
player
do you.
just this crappy supportive mid laner that only plays 𝗲𝗏? He's not even good, dude. Oh man. I mean, to be fair, it was actually a pretty good 𝗲𝗏 game out of him. He was pretty valuable.
Yeah, okay. He played like they
Oh,
played the
yes.
𝗲𝗏
Yes. That's smart.
Alice?
Yes.
Blitzcrank,
What
please.
is it actually? Okay, it's 𝗬𝗲𝗄𝗧.
𝗬𝗲𝗄𝗧, he finally gets
So
a pick.
𝗬𝗲𝗄𝗧 is actually a lot better into the 𝗲𝗏 than the 𝗘𝘀𝗽𝗏 was, because the glacial augment was putting 𝗘𝘀𝗽𝗏 through hell.
Honestly, I
as
think.
The Senna, you mean?
Yeah.
The
Actually
Senna.
saw
Yeah. So.
on the center, was putting the 𝗘𝘀𝗽𝗏 through hell.
Yeah, the more 𝗘𝘀𝗽 I see everywhere, the less I like her. I feel like she's not as strong as she was in the lane anymore. Like almost all 𝗘𝘀𝗽s just go even in lane now. So it's like, why are you still prioritizing this champion if she's not even winning her lane anymore? So I really like these 𝗬𝗏𝗏s.
Yeah,
Brings more for the late game team
You have
fights.
to be very good on the 𝗘𝘀𝗽, and your team has to know.
I mean, 𝗘𝘀𝗽 enables your support to do crazy stuff, right? And she's very strong in mid game, so it's for sure still a strong champion. But with all the range advantages coming in right now in draft, where everything is around range, I feel like 𝗘𝘀𝗽 has really fallen out of favor for a lot of teams.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And we will have Simon going to the croc once again, as he picks that one. 𝗬𝗃𝗲𝗏 will get the run back on the shotgun as well.
Something worth mentioning is we haven't really seen
𝗀𝗏𝗏 saves us, boys. They saved us.
This ties into the point I was just making. We haven't seen 𝗀𝗃 picked or banned at all this series.
That's weird.
Which is weird. And so
You're not allowed to play 𝗀𝗃 center.
here.
What? You don't like
You're not
the
allowed
white...
to play 𝗀𝗃 center.
You don't like the white steel lane?
It's I mean, they can't play together. It's impossible. It's blocked. Once you lock in center, you can't pick 𝗀𝗃 or vice versa.
I like the white steel lane. I think it's good.
Set ban instead of Wukong. Okay, I don't know why. They play 2 games of Wukong. Just ban the Wukong. Like,
Yeah, it is a bit weird.
What a surprise.
Obviously,
what a surprise.
The most obvious pick in the world. I actually think I would rather a 𝗀𝗃 pick here, though. Because 𝗀𝗃 𝗬𝗏𝗏 is so strong.
I would also...
I think this could finally be the Wukong bot lane, though. It's still a possibility. We haven't seen it so far, but 𝗀𝗃𝗽𝗏's banned.
I don't think so. I think it'll be top. They've done it twice. Yeah.
I think if anything, they're going to go for the 𝗀𝗃𝗽, as we saw the 𝗀𝗃𝗽 ban last game.
Oh, that's fair.
That's what we saw from Lisa, and I mean, well, rather that feels much more like a Lisa champion, honestly, at this point. But I would have liked the 𝗀𝗃, unless Zen just doesn't play 𝗀𝗃 apparently.
He was a very good 𝗀𝗃 in promotion tournament and stuff, so kind of surprising.
It's true. So I don't understand why he isn't.
I mean, Nautilus just seems worse.
Oh,
ooh, okay. Nautilus just
so
seems
if this was
worse.
a good team, the game would be over. This draft is so much better.
What is this Braum? Come on, 𝗀𝗃 is open, guys.
So they have once again almost no engage. They play into 𝗬𝗏𝗏s, and all of them have to come into 𝗬𝗏𝗏s, which he likes. This is big draft diff again. OPG has outdrafted 𝗀𝗃 3 games in a row. It's just don't know if they can outplay them as well.
I am not understanding R5 Braum.
I mean, no one understands R5 Braum. It's useless.
It's unless the enemy team is like a pure poke comp,
Or
it's not worth it.
yeah, or you're
Do you know what actually would be
Ornn.
5 head here as a support? 𝗀𝗃𝗄𝗃. I think if you pick 𝗀𝗃𝗄𝗃 here, the game is pretty much over. The enemy team can't do
𝗀𝗃𝗄𝗃?
anything against 𝗀𝗃𝗄𝗃.
𝗀𝗃𝗄𝗃 Senna?
Don't know about
It's a
that.
pretty brutal lane. Okay.
It's brutal in lane. No one has range to get to you. Like,
Yeah.
𝗀𝗃𝗄𝗃 can scale freely if you pick 𝗀𝗃𝗄𝗃 at R5 here.
True.
I'm
Whatever,
not a
it's
huge
never going
fan
to
of
happen in
it
the
in
VCS, so.
I'm not a huge fan of it into Nautilus.
Come on.
You gotta back the
no,
spaghetti
no.
monster.
I'm not a huge fan of it into Nautilus, but along those lines, I think you can go along those lines and go for a carry support type thing.
Yeah.
Zyra would be
Just
okay as well.
Yeah.
Specifically.
I would have liked Zyra a lot.
I mean, this is just me talking, but I would have liked Zilean.
I think Zillion's fine.
Zilean Senna is a good lane. Zilean in general is just a really good champion. And
I mean, then you really put all the eggs in the 𝗀𝗃𝗄𝗃 basket. I mean,
Whenever
it's fine after the last game, I guess, but
Whenever I log on
I would like more damage.
Whenever I go on to play some TFT or some League, I always see Vinnie in game, and he's always on his Zillion. So I know where you're coming from, man.
I'm a one trick.
It's all right.
Seriously?
I'm a
No
one
problem.
trick.
Didn't know that.
I'm a Mordekaiser one trick, so it's all good, mate. We're on even footing.
He's
But
a lot of fun.
let's not talk about Zillion too much. I know we can talk after the game when we're just chatting in our break. Who's your prediction here? Are OPG going to get their second series win, or will % finally begin to right the ship of their season?
I don't know. I
You got to
think
pick.
%'s running it back again. And I think it actually seems to be that if OPG can't get an absurd lead, that %'s winning it for some reason.
So who's it going to be? You got to pick,
I
man.
don't know.
You got to pick.
OPG has the better comp.
All right, I'm taking that as you picking OPG. I'm not giving you. You gotta have time, mate. You're picking OPG. We'll talk to you after the game. It'd be a big win for them, no question, and it would be a huge loss for %. They are on a horrible downwards trend. A lot of it to do with drafting, unfortunately. They are a new organization. Yeah. The coaching staff just doesn't really exist. And it's such a shame after we saw some real flashes of brilliance in the first 2 weeks. And I still think in-game their coordination is really good, but they just get let down by the draft. So
I think the most interesting thing to talk about here is how similar the comps are from game 1 to game 3, but the few differences that make or break the draft and comp advantages. So in game 1, we were very much in favor of OPG. We said the draft is almost unplayable for %, and OPG won after a lot of struggles in the mid game. In the end, the comp was too strong. Game 2, we were still in favor of OPG's draft, but we said, okay, there is a little bit of better damage for Grace. So now game 3, they come in with Grace again, but they adapted their comp slightly in the bot lane. So it's not a 𝗀𝗃𝗃𝗃, it's a Braum. Braum and 𝗀𝗃𝗃𝗃 kind of do the same thing, so it doesn't really change much. But in my opinion, this is closer to game 1, where the draft advantage was very heavily in favor of OPG. Because of
YT. He's in so much trouble. He takes a trade a level down and loses top lane. Top lane just ended.
He has to TP back soon. Yeah, and YT is really struggling into Simon's Renekton so far. Simon definitely dominating him in laning phase mostly. YT got a solo kill last game or the game before. I'm not sure. It's all blends together now.
Last game, they 1v1'd about 20 times, and both of them.
Yeah, but most of the time, Simon got the better of him.
Yeah,
to be honest,
most of the time. I think there was a few back and forth.
Yeah, I think he got the very first solo kill in lane, if I remember correctly. Then Simon just hit level 6 and killed him back. We once again have a little bit of topside focus for 𝗏𝗏𝗏, as we expect. YT is healed up to almost full HP.
It is Wukong,
low. Simon very low. Oh no!
Simon taking a tower shot is really bad here. Could try and bait to get 𝗏𝗏𝗏 in, but Wukong has a lot of burst once his cooldowns come back up. There's no hope of a dive. But YT seems to sniff that the 𝗏𝗏𝗏's around. Makes sense.
She hits the max range spear here.
It misses, so it's okay. Maybe if the spear had hit, they could have flashed in and killed him.
Yeah, they could have considered this one. Yeah. But 𝗀𝗃𝗃𝗃 now with a big lead in the jungle in terms of CS. Can he contest this very obvious... Oh yeah, he's level 4. He should have this.
Yeah,
𝗀𝗃𝗃
super
got
easy.
both 𝗪𝗏𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃.
Yep, this is big for the Graves. We saw what it did last
Oh,
game
okay.
when it gets off to a good start. And will we see
10
it again?
CS lead at 3 minutes in the jungle. Wow, that's
huge.
massive.
Yeah, and this is with a camp stolen by DK. He stole the Krugs. Of course, he now actually has the whole top side of his jungle to clear out. So it's not the worst situation ever. He should catch back up.
Still, both 𝗀𝗃𝗿𝗄𝗏 is quite a lot
That's a
to
big
lose
one.
early on in this matchup, especially because Nidalee should actually outperform Grace early in clear. I think she's a little bit faster if she plays it correctly. Grace is of course healthier. Yeah, but he's not as quick in the jungle. So Nidalee should go off to a little bit of a lead, at least positioning wise. So instead, she's now pretty far behind, lost both 𝗀𝗃𝗏𝗏s, and has to farm up to be back on.
𝗬𝗃
And now
Simon
5v4.
having another go. I really like to fight these two. Of course, one thing we didn't mention, and Simon kind of screwed up by taking that tower shot and equalizing the health. Wukong's health regen. 2 tower shots. Wukong health regen kind of made up for that bad trade. His passive, it's not just armor, it's a lot of health regen as well. So if he can stack that up, he does get back healthy. He got the, don't worry, he got the cannon. Simon's in control. Simon's in control.
Close call. Close call.
So something I want to kind of move us to, we've been looking at the top lane a lot, but I want to actually talk, there we go, observers read my mind. I want to talk about the bot lane. It is a short range comp into Aphelios. That's not good. Is it enough to stop him? Like, what do you think here? Can % team fight into Mr. 200 years?
They kind of have to one-shot him, which will be hard into Renekton, who's going to zone, and Nautilus is also going to peel for him. First, we have the Dragon started, but DK is not in a position to contest, so this should be free first Drake for 𝗀𝗃𝗏. So nice start. Free. So let's get back to that discussion. I think Aphelios has quite a lot of peel to work with Orianna as well, so he should be able to shine this in this game. He's quite far behind in CS right now, so he still needs a lot of time to get online, of course.
I mean,
once he had 2 items, it's going to be so difficult to fight against him.
This is a tricky lane to play for Aphelios. It's not fun going into center, constantly getting slowed by the glacial augments, pinged by the Qs and stuff. I'm not too surprised he's a bit behind in CS. But
yeah, that's fair.
He is going to be a very big deal because PHT has so much zone control. Simon has been doing a very good job of zoning in these games. Can you one-shot Vit? You've got the tools with Wukong and 𝗀𝗃𝗏𝗏, but I'm scared. I'm scared we're going to see some many centuries happen.
Yeah, and the good thing, for me at least, watching the last 2 games is that OPG, PHT, one of the main carries, can't really go for over-aggressive things on Orianna, right? You can play an aggressive Orianna. I mean, you can play aggressive Orianna, look at 𝗀𝗏𝗏𝗏, but it's still kind of more of a backline champ, so once they lose one team fight and Wit gets one shot, they can actually adapt their playstyle this time around, hopefully. And he just has the ball on him, extra resistances, extra shield, so Wit gets more tanky, harder to one-shot, then Wit just activates his Severum, gets back to full HP, and the fight is won. I think that's quite easy to play in the late game. Orianna Aphelios, a very strong 2-carry setup with a lot of zoning, a lot of damage.
Top lane, 𝗀𝗃𝗏𝗏 coming in, the Cyclone is available, Simon goes for the dashes away, but there's the flashes used by everyone, and first blood, 2%.
Perfect start. 𝗏, getting their main carry ahead. First kill to Graves, who has had a very strong pathing early game, but now also rewards himself with a kill. Double flash invested for 𝗏, so maybe a little bit of an opening for OPG to punish. But they got every single objective so far, and now in good position for the Herald as well.
This is
just Simon. I mean, all the top lane fights so far very easy to read. It's just Simon a little bit too far forward. 𝗬𝗏 with a flash ultimate knockup to secure the kill, and 𝗀𝗃𝗏𝗏 getting that one under his belt.
And it looks like they want to go for this Herald as well. It's been pulled out. A little bit dangerous as the bot lane of OPG is here. And yep, they will just disengage for now, as 𝗏𝗃𝗏𝗏 has not moved. And 𝗬𝗏 is actually still
both supports still level 5.
OPG,
so
though, has
no big support ultimates.
Very much the positioning at the moment. I think 𝗏 has to give this up. I don't think they can fight this.
Yeah, I agree. So yeah, you have your ADC still in the bot lane. This is one of the worst ADCs to try and race against the Herald, of course, especially in the early game, Senna's turret damage is negligible.
It's
so
not as bad
this
as
is going to be.
If you have grasp, it's not as bad because of demolish, but that's not relevant.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, it's not going to happen this game though. And this means first good objective for OPG secured. They are far behind in gold actually for just 1 kill down. They are 1.5 gold down at 9 minutes already.
Look at bot lane. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's a big advantage
huge
there.
CS lead.
And of course the 600 extra gold from the first kill too. So now one opening for OPG to get back into the game. Can Percent have a cool counterplay to the Herald drop? They already secured 2 platings here, so that's already enough to equalize the Herald. This will be 3 platings for free.
I'm not sure if this is good play out of... Oh, here we go, as there's an engage. Vit is taking so much damage, and bang! In comes the Dawning Shadow to make sure the kill is secured, and now Xin is in so much trouble, and OPG have really ballsed that up. Glory's in some trouble, but he speeds away. Oh no, and unfortunately, look who's got the eye. They can't even drop it mid lane with the Glory being forced back. Ooh, guys,
so 4 platings, 2 kills to Senna, a 30 CS lead in the bot lane. Oh my god, this is all going down very, very quickly. This is really looking horrible for OPG in the early game. And I have to question the decision making again. So they stay away from the turret, and then for some reason they decide, okay, now is the time to step under the turret. Wasn't any better time than before where they stayed safe. So for some reason they just made this judgment to go there. This happened in the mid lane, but Glory of course just flashed away, so not a big deal. OPG really needed to reinforce their bot lane and send someone there to help them get back to the turret. Instead the bot lane just got nervous, or I don't know, annoyed that they couldn't go to the turret and decided, it's time. Let's just go there. Let's just die for free. Very bad call. And
you can say that again. Yeah, and you've got to say it. 2 games in a row now, Percent is ahead in the early game, and I feel like if that happens, it's almost just lights out. You can almost just call the curtain at that point. Because Percent is a horrible early game team. They get their wins by making up for their early game with good mid game. But if they don't even have to make up for it, they're just going to get further and further ahead. This is a bit of a disaster from OPG. You have to be a bit happy with them. We saw some signs of life in game 1 as Lisa does get hooked. This is going to be a 3v3 though, as 𝗀𝗃𝗃 arrives in, taking so much damage. He's just dead. PHT's on the way in, but he is not going to be close enough, as it's a double kill for Big Coro. And no, here comes Glory. PHT was a little bit too aggressive, and they're going to go under the tower. Can they kill him? No, not quite. But that's going to be the tower and PHT's flash.
I feel like we're watching a team that has no coordination whatsoever.
It's a bit of solo kill.
The calls are so disjointed. They have no idea who's strong, who's weak. They went for the play and then got turned around on. They should be able to. They should know that all the flashes are available to counterplay for Percent. So just bad call after bad call. 4-0 Big Coro on the Senna. She's still just scaling up. It's so accelerated now. So I feel like Vit can't even enter a lane right against him, especially against glacial augment. So he's probably going to solo kill him. Look at the goal difference in bot lane. 2.5k at 12 minutes in one position. What? It's one of the biggest gold leads we've ever seen.
𝗀𝗃𝗃𝗃 might have 200 years of development time, but 𝗀𝗃𝗃𝗃, he's in court out there. Ruining my joke. 𝗀𝗃𝗃𝗃 might have 200 years of development time, but that does not make up for 2,000 gold coins. 𝗀𝗃𝗃𝗃, that's unfortunate. Not. He got death brushed. Not much 𝗀𝗃𝗃𝗃 could do about that one.
Oh, good play from OPG, though. I think that's one opportunity we can praise OPG for a good play, because that was nicely executed, well orchestrated. They all knew where he was going, so read him like a book in the jungle pathing, and actually bought time for Vit to get 4 platings back. So at least he's going to have a little bit of gold under his belt. it's still probably going to die to YT here. He has to be careful. Use this flash anti on the last
is coming
engage.
in, of course. There's the Cyclone. The teleport is going to come in behind, but there's a Dawning Shadow to keep him healthy. Can he get the double kill? Oh, I don't think so. He has to run away from Simon, who should be able to chop him down. So it's a 1-for-1. Actually, will Simon be able to get him? Yep, with the flash he can. Oh, maybe eventually. Come on.
Wait, what?
Whoa, my God. No,
Please.
this can't be happening. He gets away. Oh, no.
Oh, my God.
Truly, the monkey business came out.
He's baiting him again.
Look at the monkey business. Oh, but 𝗀𝗃𝗲𝗿's the one that gets baited as DK has arrived. YT, he might finally go down, but no, the man is still running. What a cheeky monkey.
That was the Wukong passive in display there. All the health regeneration combined, of course, with the early Tiamat.
We had 𝗬𝗎𝗄𝗃.
Yeah, I think Simon can't believe what he just saw. Simon's like, nah, this can't. This has to be a bug. He can't. This is not possible. This can't happen.
We will flick back over in just a moment to our analyst team as we are. Hang on a minute.
Oh.
I've got to fix up the cameras because they've decided to break again.
The looks on OPG's faces are really concerning. They
a
are
little bit broken. But we will flick back over while we wait for the pause to be resolved. Hopefully it's fast enough. But Vinny, welcome back. What's your take so far? How are you thinking about this? 1% is looking pretty hot.
Yeah, so we were focusing a lot on...
We are heading straight back in, so make your point real quick. Oh, it's just a replay.
I'll quickly wrap it up. If it's just replay, whatever, I'll meander then. No,
I do want to talk about. I want to talk about this play though. I hate to cut you off, but look at this play. Look at this. YT is breaking ankles out here. Oh my God, how is he not dead? Look at the health regen.
Every single auto attack. Every single auto attack is exactly how much he gets back in HP at the time. What?
Drink
so
your
crazy.
pots,
Conqueror, baby. Conqueror.
𝗀𝗃𝗲𝗿 got a little bit baited, but we do have the game back, so I'm sorry, Vinny.
We are back.
We brought you in and I didn't let you talk. I do apologize. We can make up for it after the game.
All I was gonna say is we focused on draft diff, but player diff still exists.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's a very good point. Go ahead, Yulwei.
And I think to continue this point, I think we got baited by yesterday, because yesterday was better draft wins every single game. And I think we got baited and thought this would happen today again. But I think these two teams are still pretty different in skill. PA, of course, present on a little bit of a downwards trajectory. They've lost a lot of series, but OPG is still by far the worst team in the league. So draft div is not going to amount to much.
I do think there are some really good signs from OPG. DK is a legitimately good Nidalee. Like, he is really going to be able to hang with the best of them on that champion. And on the other side for 𝗀𝗃𝗲𝗿...
Simon's Renekton.
Yeah, Simon's Renekton's really good. I mean, I'd like to see him show maybe 1 or 2 more champions. Otherwise, it becomes a little bit too easy to choke him out. But hey, if they're not going to ban it, you play it. On the other side, 𝗀𝗃𝗲𝗿. Game 1, we were really, really worried. But look at the difference this Graves has made to the comp. Just having that second damage threat, something for Glory's Karma to buff up, has made a really big difference. So I'm pretty happy. Like, obviously, yeah, OPG, they probably lose this game. It's going to be very hard for them to come back. But still, signs of life. This is not FTV, which is a good thing. I think OPG games can be fun. They can be exciting. They're not just stomps.
Yeah, that's true. They at least always fight back. Maybe a little bit too much at that.
Yeah,
in my opinion, they should probably chill a little bit more. But I mean, it's good to watch, of course.
I would rather a bad team be bad because of over-aggression than under-aggression.
Yeah, it's fair. It's better to watch for sure. But if you just look at it from the development standpoint, from the analyst that wants to see the team succeed and get better, I'm a little bit frustrated watching the OPG because they do the same things they did in week 1. They still commit the same mistakes. They still overchase. It's like, why are you not trying to get better at these aspects of the game? It's very strange to me.
Yeah, it's again, VCS coaching is flawed.
And I mean, they show some very good coaching as well. It's very OPG is a very strange team to me because their setups and their understanding of like general macro concepts, like vision setups around objectives, like just timings around objectives is actually quite decent for a bad team. Like, they are still our 8th place team, and for that they show a lot of prowess and understanding. But then other macro concepts that should be even easier to understand, like when to fight, looking at the item timings, when to contest, looking at win conditions of your composition, is something they really don't understand.
Now, I hate to cut you off,
And
because we have a fight brewing here as the 3rd Drake is spawning. We haven't mentioned it because it hasn't really been a point of focus. Percent do have the first 2 Drakes. They're looking for the 3rd. Cloud Soul, it's pretty good for them. Makes Wukong very scary, makes 𝗘𝗃𝗲𝗿 very scary. And of course, the ultimate cooldown reduction is just good for everyone.
The wards. Oh my god.
That was a lot of damage. That is a beach ball filled with concrete, as Orianna is whipping that one around. 𝗀𝗃𝗲𝗿 does want to look in for this one, but they are very zoned out. That bush, oh my god. They can see everything. They can see into the strands of grass. Look at all the damage. 𝗀𝗄𝗽𝗄𝗃𝗄𝗃 comes in. They are so caught. In comes the monkey. It's an instant kill, but the rest of them manage to flash away. And the dragon goes to percent.
Well, another one bites the dust, and another contest for OPG from behind for no reason, even though they really didn't have to contest. So they're still following the same formula, sadly. And percent looking very solid this game. Let's look at them. Just solid play, securing a lot of kills, securing all the objectives. 𝗀𝗃𝗿 controlling the jungle. I think his best game compared to 𝗘𝗀𝗃𝗍's performance so far. And the flash,
look at this one.
Nice to get away. PhD flashes away there.
So much damage layered. That was so much damage on that 4-man AoE. No chance for OPG in that fight.
Yeah, very well played by 𝗲𝗲. Zoning them away with a perfect 𝗘𝗃𝗃𝗍. One of the best spots, of course, to use that ultimate in. So, yeah, he got like 3-4 knockups, and no one can move afterwards because the 𝗘𝗃𝗃𝗍, of course, slows as well. An underappreciated part about the ultimate. A lot of zone control.
That it certainly has.
Let's try to see how. Let's focus on percent. We've talked about OPG a lot already, and it's still not looking great. Let's see how a percent can close out this game. They have a lot of range. They have 2 ADCs, so they have 2 of the worst ADCs against Baron, though. You look at the combo, you say generically, okay, 2 ADCs and 𝗲𝗃𝗲, perfect for Baron. But honestly,
Not
it's
really.
Senna and it's Senna and Grace, 2 of the ADCs that can't build attack speed. So probably not the greatest Baron. So Baron isn't really an option unless they win big team fight beforehand. They have great engage with Wukong, only with Wukong though. So he's probably going to have to look for flanks.
I mean,
And I feel like the easiest way is just to play Dragon.
Yeah, there's soft engage with 𝗲𝗃𝗲, particularly once you have that Cloud Soul and you're moving.
And Senna as well.
Quickly. Yeah.
They for sure have very good follow-up once YT finds a good engage. They all can run in instantly and follow up on that one. 𝗪𝗍𝗪 offensively to follow up on the knockups.
This could be a bit of a fight up in the top lane. DK is getting zoned off by Lisa, though, and just hops over the wall. 𝗪𝗍𝗪 is used. They're just dealing some damage. I don't think this ever kills, but God, that hurt.
Yeah, for sure. But it's near 𝗪𝗍𝗪, so she can heal up.
She's fine.
They use double ultimates there, so just a little bit of unfamiliarity, maybe with the damage ranges of their combination, but honestly, it's not going to do anything negative for percent, because there's nothing on the map they have to do right now. They are just waiting for the next dragon for soul, and then the winning play is just to secure... Oh, 𝗀𝗃𝗿 wants to contest. Just to secure the dragon afterwards. The Elder Dragon is going to be the main win condition here and the main objective you play for. But on the other hand, that gives a lot of time to OPG to scale. And if OPG finally acknowledges that they just don't have to contest anything for now, they defend their waves, ward Baron, so Baron is not going down.
I don't think this goes 12. Maybe it should, but I don't think it does. I think there'll be a big fight at the 4th Drake and possibly a big fight at Baron, and that ends the game. I'm going to call it now.
That's very likely looking at the game so far. It's not what OPG should do.
It's not what I agree. I agree your analysis is definitely correct, but I don't think these teams are going to play by your rules.
That's a fair point. Absolutely fair. We might see percent actually doing something... no, I don't think that makes sense. In some compositions, you can actually argue to not take the soul here, to not spawn the Elder Dragon. But I think they're far enough ahead to not have that matter too much, because I think actually the Elder Dragon will pose a nice bait or a nice extra threat for percent too. So percent is going to use the Elder Dragon to lure in the enemy comp, and engage is still the one thing they struggle with in this composition. So Elder Dragon is going to be beneficial instead. Xin might just be
Ooh,
dead.
Yep, Xin is absolutely dead, as they are just going to push on to the mid lane. Not sure why they were there, honestly. This bot lane has had zero impact this game. We were worried about the potential of 𝗀𝗻𝗄𝗃 to carry, but I don't think we need to worry about that one anymore.
Nope. I mean, he's still scaling up, of course. If he gets 3 items, maybe he can do something, but he's far away from that point. And Xin, maybe one of the worst games we've seen him play so far. We have generally been quite impressed with this player on OPG, maybe one of the best OPG players, in my opinion. But this game really has looked quite off, and comes back to draft, where Thresh was open. Thresh could have been a choice here. Would have made the lane easier to play for 𝗀𝗻𝗄𝗃 too.
Yep.
In hindsight, everything is easier to talk about, right? So it's a little bit of a flawed argument.
Hindsight is certainly 2020. So yeah, I think this composition is fine for OPG. Like, the comp's fine. That's not the problem.
Yeah, absolutely. The comp is good.
Yeah, I actually don't think there was too much draft diff this game. This is all player diff. I think
there's a huge draft diff.
I actually don't agree. I actually think this version of the comp with the Graves is okay. The first version with the Rek'Sai was garbage. But with the Graves,
not against Orianna and 𝗀𝗻𝗄𝗃 though. Okay, they're going to
just
give up.
Give this up. The soul is delayed. Percent perhaps not realizing quite how quickly that Drake would go down. Once again, we have the most scouted bush in existence. There are so many wards in that pixel brush. Now they're charging forward. They obviously do have inside track here. They could just try and interrupt recalls, but it's already kind of too late on that. And they don't take towers overly quickly.
They're going to get top lane. Okay. So more gold in percent pockets, but they delay their win condition a little bit longer. Might just brute force their way into mid lane inhibitor here. Wave clear is decent with Infernum. Yeah. It seems like Wit is not... Oh, he's not willing to go there, and now
Fisher misses. Xin dives forward with the dredge line. There's a few knockups there, but look at 𝗀𝗃 spinning in the back line, doing all this damage. Vin cannot stand up to that monkey business as he is just carving through. He gets the triple kill, and it's only Simon and DK left standing. I believe we may have an end to this game very, very soon. And what did I tell you, Yulwei? There's no way these teams go to Elder Drake. Draktar adds another kill to his stats. And here we go. This is the final push. And the battle of the promoted teams will shortly end.
And Percent gets revenge for their loss in the promotion tournament, where they had to fight another best of 5 to get in. But now clearly the better team on the VCS stage.
Absolutely. And it will be unfortunate for OPG. They do not add another win. Their season continues to be very rough. But it doesn't matter, as they fought hard, but Percent fought harder. And we will, of course, have a chat with our analysts to see what's going on. And apparently our analyst screen is completely broken. I'll have to fix that on the go. You guys have a chat, though. It's completely broken. I need to fix this. But you guys start talking.
Okay. MVP? What would you say, Vinny? Who's the MVP for this game?
I think I would give it to the biggest of Koros on the bot
lane.
Yeah,
I agree.
I mean, 𝗀𝗃𝗃 played very well. He was probably in contention, but Big Kara just made Senna look a lot not like a support champion, that's for sure, and a full-on carry. And so all that worked out. It all worked out pretty good in the end. And I think a big, the only change, I suppose, that happened to this draft that actually really made it so much better was that Braum pick, providing more hard CC to the composition.
That's true. Actually,
against just sort of flapping around doing not much.
Yeah, it improved the team fighting so much around the Dragon Pit. Yeah, that's fair.
It also, provided a lot more lane pressure, which, I mean, Braum doesn't provide the most, but it provides a lot more than 𝗘𝘀𝗽𝗃 does. So I think having that actually made this comp almost a decent one. I think, you could still do some changes to it to make it actually good. But I think that Braum change alone made it so much better than the time 𝗘𝗀𝗃.
I agree. And we do have to pick an MVP, of course, for game number 3.
Yeah, I think we already settled on Koro for
game
this
3.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Koro for game 3.
And so apparently we have a little bit of
𝗀𝗃𝗲𝗏?
disagreement.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, I think it was definitely Koro in game 3. Apparently we have a little bit of
In that one, yeah.
disagreement over player of the series. There were a few candidates, but because someone doesn't check Discord during the games when we're deciding it, we've given it to Big Koro.
Can't, or I'm not in my frame.
Someone doesn't check and have an input, so we gave it to Big Koro. I think he's a fine candidate. Game 1 was super rough, but it was rough for all of %. Look, that's who we've given it to. There were other candidates, but you can argue with us. Fair enough. Maybe we put a different one out on Twitter. You'll find out.
I think basically it really came down to Koro and 𝗀𝗃𝗏, and in the end, 𝗀𝗃𝗏 had a worse game 1 than Koro did, so that was my reasoning why Koro is edged out.
And again, Yulwei, you get to have input if you check your Discord during the game.
If you take part in the input, you get input.
Yeah, exactly. But regardless, enough flaming of our analysts aside. It was close. I think there were a few player of the series candidates for sure. With that, of course, 𝗢𝘃 has taken a win. It was an important one to try and get their season back on track. So that's very good for them. OPG definitely had some signs of life. They have some things to walk away from and say, hey, pretty happy with that. But they do still really need to work on some core issues. The over-aggression, the over-forcing needs to be cleaned up. We're still waiting for it to be done. It hasn't quite happened yet. With that, that is the end of our first series. We'll be back in not too long to bring you the second series of the night, which should be another fun one for sure. Will we get a second 6-game night in a row? Find out soon. Thank you for tuning in, everyone. Of course, I've been Everyday. With me have been the Big Brain Boys, Vinnie and Yulwei. We hope you enjoy the show here on VCS English. We always appreciate you being here. If you do go down below the stream, you should follow us on our socials. The Twitter team do a really, really good job keeping everything updated, putting out memes, that kind of thing. You should also join our Discord where we talk about everything. You can also subscribe to Patreon or send us some donations. We'd really appreciate that. We are working out some Patreon rewards. We're still thinking. If you've got ideas, hit us up. But yeah, we would appreciate that, but no pressure. We'll be back in a little bit for more VCS action. Don't go anywhere, guys. Enjoy it.